Welcome to the Mo Chatta Show with Big E. Our featured guests are former professional baseball player Parker Frazier and former MLB player Pete Kozma. Coming to you live from the Mo Chatta Studios.
All right, here we go. We've been waiting for this.
We got some baseball guys on. Is it
our guys, boys?
Is it the season?
It's the season. It's getting there.
To be jolly.
To be jolly. We got Parker Frazier
Yep.
and Pete Kozma.
Just a couple of guys' names start with P.
Pete.
You know?
That's so good. I like it. Just playing ball. Here we are.
That's right. Yeah, we got baseball season is upon us. I know high school already started.
Yep.
And that's what our guests are doing right now, taking up some of their time.
Yep.
Parker, you coach a little bit, right?
Too much.
Are you the hitting coach right now? Is that
When he's there, he's the hitting coach. The other day, he goes, "Hey, get the hitters going." I say, "You get the hitters going." I gotta call pitches. So no, I just, man, there's so many kids. You just try to help them out whichever way you can. I mean,
yeah, because you're head coach at Bishop Kelley, the Comets.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah.
The Asteroids. Is that a
The
nickname? The
Astro-
Asteroids. No.
Meteors.
I've
The
never heard of
Meteors.
There is a middle school called the Meteors.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
When someone hits a home run on your team, you're like, man, that guy just dropped a meteor.
No, but it's just gonna help us hit. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'll bring a sign. Hit a meteor.
Yeah. And two, we got, Pete's coaching there.
Yeah, Pete, what are you doing over there? Getting the hitters going?
I'm doing whatever he needs, really. I mean, he needs help, and I'm there to help. So
Yeah.
I mean, if the defense needs help, if I see something, I step in. I do whatever he needs. Do whatever he needs me to do.
Because you weren't much of a fielder, right? In your time
Yeah,
playing.
I was only like top 5 in the league at one point.
Yeah,
That was about it.
No, but
No.
He goes a little
no, this is good. Hey, I can tell you this is I've coached with Parker. He is, and I've coached a long time in high school, and he is
20 plus years.
Yes, a long time. He's organized. He's all about them kids and he's just in it. You know what I'm saying? And,
Yeah.
and then whenever he gets going, it was totally opposite for what I was, what I kind of went up with,
Yeah.
And whenever he started out hauling, I mean, he's done in a short amount of time what a lot of guys takes a long time to do. I mean, our second year, we won the state title, which I know you're still waiting on that ring.
I'm still waiting on my
got
ring.
that.
I was waiting for the order for him.
I did a car wash to raise funds. Everything.
So so his second year, we won the state title, and that was the first time in school history. So, I mean,
Yeah.
how did that feel, Parker? Like, I mean, because it was your first year. We had a decent team, and man, to change it around so quick. I've never asked you this, and it's something that I always want to know. What kind of made that kind of trigger for you to say, this is what we got to do? Because I know you got that competitive spirit, anyways.
If you're not
how'd that
first, you're
feel?
last.
Yeah,
right?
right.
I mean,
Like,
you don't
what
win the
kind
last game, you're a loser.
Yeah,
You're just a loser.
that's true.
Yeah,
But I mean, like,
yeah.
so what kind of got you? I mean, what was your inspiration of that?
And what's your secret? Because a 2-year turnaround is
Yes.
pretty tough. I mean, not
Yes.
softball, we do it all the time.
All the time. All the time.
What's that? Mike's magic secret juice. Well,
Yeah, the magic stuff.
Yeah, magic stuff. There it is. That is. Honestly, it's trying to find out what. I say this to all private schools because their struggle's different than everybody else's for the most point. They go to. When they go home, majority of them have 2 parents. They don't have much problems. They're going to eat. They got a meal at home, and some people don't realize how tough that is. So, I mean, for me, it's how do you make that group of kids hungry?
Yeah.
Like, how do you want them to achieve more than what they want, and Hall and Hall, the first thing I asked for was for more help.
Yeah.
And RAD did that. It was awesome. And then Mo reached out. I think it was January, February, and then he hopped on.
Yeah.
And then it was takeoff from there. I mean, their turnaround was quick. The kids, they always had athletes. It's just, I feel like being in pro ball, I could watch, especially being a pitcher. There's a lot of downtime and a lot of observation. So I felt like I do a very good job of observing who fits well where, when, and why, and how we can get better And
Putting
the
the pieces together.
Yeah, I mean, the great part about it was that we had 5 coaches for 25 players.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
and I figured out the school schedule and how to get more reps for them, and we didn't have lights, so we had to make every minute count.
Right.
So when he talks about the organization, it's trying to get everything in
It was.
really
It was about-
quickly.
yeah.
I mean, we were double BPing on the old
It
middle
was.
school field, trying to make sure we got BP and
Get BP in
before
for the-
daylight,
yeah.
for the daylight hit in the fall.
Yeah.
I mean, in the wintertime, I mean, it was crazy. But I mean, it's just hard work, and then you hope you have the right culture and the right mindset, and they always bring it home. Like I always tell people, if we lose, it's my fault. I didn't
Yeah.
prepare you enough. I didn't do that enough. And then if we win, they did it. Like I don't play for them anymore. Like
Right.
I might call a pitch out, but they still have to execute it.
They
It
gotta
might be a
execute the play.
perfectly timed
Right.
play, and if we don't execute it, it doesn't work. So
Yeah.
so when we win, it's all the praise goes to them. So you
Right.
can't do anything. You just hope you prepare them enough, put pressure enough on them in practice that when the time comes, there's like, oh, this is it. Like Coach Frazier's way meaner in practice. Like,
Yeah.
this is like if I drop this fly ball, we're up 2. If I drop this fly ball in practice, I got 4 triangles.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is a way less
for-
consequences.
No,
Right.
and you talk about pro ball too, and that's what we're going to get into that too. Is so with you, Pete. A lot of people know. A lot of people don't know is so you went to Wasco High School, right? And then you got drafted what round straight out of high school?
So I did like a lot of the showcases like leading up to the draft
Okay.
and all that stuff, and I had no idea. Like I knew I was going to get drafted. I had no idea like when I was going to get drafted.
So
I
did you
think-
have an agent before then, or did you?
They were called an
Okay.
advisor, and I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what they call them now.
Okay.
Times have changed in about 20 years. So, but I had like showcases, colleges, all that stuff. I'm pretty sure Parker did some of those too, or a lot of those. So.
Not a lot. I wasn't as cool as him.
I had no idea. I had no idea either of you played pro baseball. This is a news flash.
But just like the process leading up to it was very, very like nerve-wracking. Probably one of the most nerve-wracking times of my life. Like trying to pick a college.
18.
Well, yeah, like just you have to pick a college, and all these colleges are, kind of calling you every day,
Courting you
like
and-
like just you're on tape, like you can't hide anymore.
Yeah.
And then leading up to that is just very nerve-wracking. And then I signed to go to Wichita State. That was the first step. Picking a college was extremely, like, not easy.
Right.
And then leading up to, the high school season went through, it was like, that was easy, just playing baseball. I was like, all right, that's fine. And then leading up to June, I think was the draft, and then getting drafted in the first round, like 18th overall, was like, just, like, it was insane. And
Yeah.
like from there on, it was like pretty much chaos until I left, which was about a month after that. And then I just started playing baseball from
Gee.
then till now.
So what was that process from that time when you graduated? What was it? So was you immediately go to a certain team, or what's that process next?
So yeah, I graduated in May and got done playing baseball in high school and graduated, and then the draft happened in June, and then like as advisor agents negotiations with the team, and then you go off and play, wherever they send you. Like you either
Who'd
go
you get drafted by?
the St. Louis Cardinals, and then
Heard of
heard of them.
They're okay.
And then they send you where they send you, whatever minor league team. You go to Florida or Arizona or wherever that is, and then you start working your way up through the minor league system, and then.
Well, in the
Go
minor
from
league
there.
system, the thing I learned that I didn't know, I read David Ortiz's book. My favorite player of all time, next to Pete, but
What about Parker?
Appreciate it, bro.
Parker, you're my favorite player. Man.
when Parker gets me my ring, he makes the list.
He makes the list. He's back in.
But I read his book, and he was, because I was, we got Tulsa Drillers in Tulsa, so I, minor league baseball around here. And then obviously playing baseball, it's like there's single A, double A, triple A, and then majors, right? And then I read his book, and I was like, man, there's like a whole rookie ball. There's like a bunch of different like classes besides just A, double A, and triple A. And I had no freaking idea. And I was like, man, you thought you were going to majors, buddy? You've got a long
The Cardinals have
road.
7. We had 7.
We had
Seven.
We had seven.
clubs.
Had
Jesus.
7.
And your boy hit every one of them. So just let you know, I hit every single one.
One of the very few people who do that.
Yeah.
Very few.
So,
It doesn't.
Where does it start? Like, and then
Rookie
obviously
ball.
rookie
It
ball.
goes rookie ball, then advanced rookie ball, then you go to single A,
Short-
high
short
A,
season,
short season,
low
yeah,
A.
short A is
Short
advanced.
season. So is that like
Yeah.
3 months?
So it's like
Yep.
there's
Is it really?
So there's a.
technically like 3.
You never went to extended, right?
No.
Yeah, I'm an
I'm
extended.
lost.
I'm an extended warrior. I'm an extended warrior.
Never
2
go
times
to
over.
extended.
Yeah, that's
So,
awesome.
That's where-
so going like when you say
Rookie
the
ball,
drill is
high rookie.
yes, so
And then
It's
does
a
it
short
go
season. It's like, well,
short season?
those are all three the same thing. It's just the level you send out. So like rookie ball, like the Rockies rookie ball, where they sent the 18-year-olds,
Yeah.
was the second level for the other teams in the league. So I'm playing against all the college guys. My 18-year-old year, I mean, I remember Kansas City rolling in there, and their average lineup was 23. I was like, sweet, like this is gonna be nice.
Yeah.
Like not.
So then it goes what? So rookie, high rookie, extended season, play on Mars.
Yeah.
And then you hit.
You Jupiter, and then you got some back.
you swing
Come
around.
I had no
And then you
idea.
hit
Dude.
what?
Yeah.
The single A.
Yeah, I mean, once you get through the rookie balls, you go single A, high A, double A, triple A.
Okay, so there's single A, high single A,
Yeah.
or high A, and then double A, and then triple A.
Yeah.
Jeez, I mean, I feel like if anyone ever got to the drillers, they're like, dude, I made it so far.
I mean, that was the
Well, that's
sixth,
what
that was the
Yeah.
fifth or sixth level for me.
So you went after that.
So you played at Bishop Kelley.
Yeah, I went to Bishop Kelley, and I
And
got
then-
drafted the same year. Not the same signing bonus. So a little later. But no, I mean, I went to Casper. Like he probably negotiated for a month or so.
Yeah.
I got drafted June 8th, or we got drafted June 8th. No, you got drafted June 7th. I was your day before.
The
You're the cool day. Your
same
day
draft
one.
class.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
But I was.
And they're coaching together. Look at it in this slate.
That is look at that. Life comes full circle.
So you got drafted like so
No,
same
I mean,
time.
I left 3 days after.
Oh, you
like
did?
my
Okay.
contract was slotted. Like I got, thankfully above slotted. I got my school paid for, what I asked for. They gave me right away, and so I was like, oh, this was easy.
nice,
So
yeah.
I mean, I was out of the house 3 days later in Casper, Wyoming.
Really?
And
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Casper's a windy someday.
it's definitely different. I'll tell you that. I mean, and my host family made it about as comfortable as you can. And then, I mean, it was awesome. I mean, their basement was like NASCAR vomited. It was the coolest thing. Well, but I went to NASCAR fan. I was like, whoa, this is awesome. Like, yeah, it had an 80-inch TV with a big recliner. So I was down right
I'm
next to
happy.
my bed. So I was okay.
So you guys have host family? I'll get into all that, but you
Yeah.
go to Casper, and then where do you go?
I went to Tri-Cities, Washington. So, and then I
Who's
went.
affiliate still with the Colorado
Yeah,
Rockies?
still right. And then my next
See, I
So
didn't
you're drafted by the Rockies, Casper, Tri-City.
And I went to Asheville, North Carolina. And then I went to Modesto,
What
California.
what level
that
was
was
Asheville?
low A.
So you were in rookie, high rookie in Tri-City,
Yeah.
low A in
Asheville, North
Asheville.
Carolina.
All right.
High A in Modesto, California. Double A in Tulsa.
So
And
you
then
played at the
Colorado
Drillers?
Springs. I did.
Dude, how sweet, how badass
I
was
seen
that?
him pitch, dude.
It was cool and not cool. It was probably
Yeah.
the closest thing for me getting to the big leagues as possible. It comes with a list and all that stuff. But
I
thankfully,
doubt that.
Huh?
I doubt that.
Uh,
I want to hear about where you played overseas. Not overseas.
well, the
but, like,
Dominican was pretty good.
Yeah.
Dominican,
That's what I wanna hear.
I did
Yeah,
across the
I want to
line,
hear
too.
about that.
So, but they, but I mean, it was cool. I mean, to have people that, because I mean, for us, we're gone 9 months out of the year,
Yeah.
and then for me and him, how many times did you have to go to instructs?
Only once.
Oh, lucky.
Yeah.
See, but like I had to
What is
go.
instructs?
So extended
Is that like
spring.
off-season?
So extended spring training. When you get drafted and then you go to your short season, the next year for like most high schoolers, they give you extended spring training, which means it's real games. They just don't count.
They just don't
So you're just playing 4 days a week, 5 days a week. You get 2 days off, Sundays off, and like a Wednesday off. You don't play.
And that doesn't go to any minor league stat?
Nope.
list or nothing?
I mean, and so they do it to manage, like they managed my innings year one. They didn't want me throwing over five
makes
innings every outing. And so, but what they didn't calculate is my second year after being the best BP thrower in the Pioneer League, I developed a sinker and I started breaking barrels, and that's where I was like, they were like, oh hey, you threw 5 innings and 65 pitches, but your pitch total needs to be
Yeah.
85. I was like,
Throw me
so I'm gonna go throw another 2 innings down the bullpen. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
still 7, guys. Like, it
Yeah.
still doesn't work. It didn't
So
work
you were
that
a
way.
starting pitcher? That's what you got drafted as?
Yeah.
Or just Pete?
Yeah,
starting pitcher?
just starting pitcher.
Yeah.
Just,
Well, the
Score would be a shortstop.
has anyone ever called you like starting Parker?
No.
No.
But I do.
I'm pointing that. Who are you throwing tonight? OSP. I know we're throwing a starting pitcher, but who?
Well,
Then they call him old sinker.
Yeah.
Single.
They got to bring
SP.
if I didn't have Titanic with
The old
Titanic.
It's looking from my head. The old Titanic.
I was just gonna tell him to drink some more and come up with something dumber.
LP. No sinker, have an ass.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that a lot of people probably don't know, which is, I mean, I do later on, but is the people, you know, that whenever you go to the pro ball, that you actually could go back to college and play. People think that you can't go back. Can you go back and forth, or how does that
No,
work?
it's just, I
You
mean,
lose your amateur status as soon as you go.
you
pro.
get 90 days. So if you get cut within 90 days,
You can go
you
play
can go
ball.
back to Division II or
Really?
lower.
So whenever you went from the Drillers, you go to the Dominican after that?
I did for a little bit, yeah. So I think it was 2 years later, I was with the Chicago White Sox, and then I ended up not having a job, and I was like, crap, I need a job. Like this, I know. I mean, I gotta get signed, do something. It was my second year in free agency, so I was like, where do I gotta go? And I mean, so I ended up going down to the Dominican, and it was, yeah, I mean, and so I'm trying to get ready to go to spring training just in case, so I wasn't like fully ready to go.
Yeah.
And I ended up going down there, and it's the playoffs. And it's a round robin. So the top 4 out of 16 play a round robin. So you play a round robin for a whole month. And then the two teams, the World Series teams, the top 2 teams play in the World Series. Well, it's 9 games. And so, yeah, it's a 9-game World Series.
Gosh.
And
Ain't got no
so,
pitch count down here, buddy.
There's what, 20,000, 30,000 people at every game.
oh, every game. It's like, so I mean,
Every
it's
game.
an island.
Every
so
game.
It's like Texas OU. Really,
Every
you know what I
game.
mean? And
Every
so-
game is a playoff.
So my first start.
That's intense.
That is
well,
intense.
how about this? I roll in. I throw live PP. They say to me, okay, yeah, you'll start on Friday. I was like, sweet.
All right.
So I'm going to start. My first start is against Aguilas, and I'm going. It's our rival, and they're in Santiago, Dominican Republic, and I'm going like, all right, well, this is going to be cool.
Rivalry game.
First off, they go Rafael Furcal. They go Miguel Tejada, Manny Ramirez, Dan Black, and then
my
Juan Perez, who's in the Giants, and then they had Francisco Pereiro, who's also in the Giants in the big leagues. I forgot the catcher, and I'm sitting here going like, really?
Really?
This is awesome.
You're throwing Friday.
Yeah. I was like, cool. I'm just going to face this team. And I'm just like,
You throw BP.
So how'd that go?
5 innings, 1 run. And I was like, yeah. And I was, but it was like I was the king because that was their rival. But the thing is the first 5 innings went like an hour and a half. The next 4 innings went 3 hours because there's a 50-man roster and 40 of them are pitchers and they right left you to death. So it's 4-hour, 5-hour games
get the
every
win?
night.
Or did they come back with that being that long?
No, we ended up winning. So
Okay.
it was nice.
Dude,
But,
that's
yeah,
intense.
But when you sit there and you're going like,
Throw it again.
what is this? I was pissed. I froze Manny Ramirez with a heater away, and I had him. It was down the middle, and I had I think it was one. I don't know. He played for the Twins. Last name's Castro. He's my catcher. He's from the Dominican.
Yeah.
And it was the first time, and I think one of the only times we had a Dominican umpire behind, and he froze up, and I mean, my catcher gets up, and there is no like, there's no guy, there's people, there's horns going off, there's singing going around, like there's drums going out the entire time, like,
Yeah.
and he grabs the ball and starts screaming at the umpire. I'm like, oh my gosh, like what the heck happened? And yeah, and you just hear him. And I'm just like, and it's like, what were you yelling? And he goes, I told him he's not the king of Dominican. I'm like, ah, he kind of is.
So
He kind of
you
is.
didn't ring him up on that?
No, and then the next one, that would have been, it went to 2-2, and then he fouled off like 3 pitches and then hit a piss missile right back at me and almost took my kneecap. So I'm like, on a fastball way, it didn't even look like he moved his hands, went whack. I was like, ah.
For those of you who
But it was-
don't know, our listeners, Manny Ramirez is like one of the best pure hitters
Ever.
baseball's ever had.
Yeah,
Who
100%.
did
Ever.
who did he play for?
he helped my boys, the Sox, World
forgot
Series
about that.
MVP.
We forgot about that.
But he's literally one of the best pure hitters the game's ever seen.
That's freaking
And for you to go down to Dominican,
Well,
and they're like, you're starting in the playoffs.
Yeah.
In front of like 30,000 people, you're just like, yeah, watch out for that 3-hole guy.
Yeah. I mean, what the cool part about the Dominican is it's life or death. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm sitting there at the casino like the night before my start. It's like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And I have this grandma come yelling at me at the roulette table. I'm like,
I don't understand.
yo, bouncer, what's up, man?
Yeah.
I was like, John, get over here, man. I was like, and he comes over. I was like, what is she screaming at? And I mean, and he's like, hang on. And he listens and he just goes, she knows you're starting tomorrow, and why aren't you in bed? And I was like, it's 8 o'clock. I'm not gonna go to bed for another 3 hours anyways.
Dang.
And then we win, and then I threw welled, and then the first person. I mean, I'm talking like the casino's tiny. It's not like this some big brand. It's like
A
you have
gas
like
station casino or something?
basically, yes,
Yeah.
with tables.
Yeah.
With a club next
With
door the
tables.
same size. And we roll in. And I mean, the first person to give me a hug was this grandma, 80-year-old grandma, just gets out of her chair, runs over, and just grabs me and hugs me because we beat the rival. But yeah, I mean,
That's
Aguilas
awesome.
Stadium, you can look it up. It's sweet.
Oh, I have to for sure.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
we got to play at home, but it was sweet.
So what's your what was the first team that you played with outside of, I mean, just straight out of high school?
So
First of all, can you tell us what your signing bonus? No, I'm just kidding.
Google it.
Google it.
Yeah.
Borrow some money.
Yeah, so you got drafted. You went right into, what'd you go into rookie ball, or did you go right into A?
So the same thing. We had 7 levels, and so we had the Gulf Coast, which was rookie, and then Johnson City, Tennessee, which was another rookie team. So those two were kind of the same, and then we had Batavia in the Penn League. That was short. That was called short season rookie.
Short season, yeah.
And then from there it goes Quad Cities, Iowa, which was low A, and then back to Florida, which is the Palm Beach Cardinals. That was high A. Springfield, Missouri was double A, and then Memphis was triple A.
And so you got to play against the Drillers.
So I got to play against the
Springfield.
Drillers. Yeah, I was in double A for 2 years. Did not get
2010, 10 and 11?
9 and 10.
9 and 10.
9 and 10, and I didn't get to play against Parker ever.
Damn.
I have never.
Walker hit my friend, so.
I had never, not even in high school either. Not even in high school. I never faced him. Never faced Parker.
And Bishop Kelley came out with some athletes, dude. I mean, people
Yeah,
think,
Bishop Kelly's got a lot of,
they got a good ones that coming out.
both schools,
you know.
Bishop Kelly and Wausau,
Yeah,
both
I mean, that's-
baseball, Oklahoma powerhouses.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I mean,
Well, then, so you came out, so you have all those. Did you play with all those until you went to the big leagues, or did you?
so yeah, right after I got drafted, I made that stop in Florida on the Gulf Coast. Went to Johnson City for about a month and a half, and then finished out the year in Batavia. So I made 3 stops in
1 year.
less than 2 months.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And then
Yeah, because I forget you drafted in June, so.
yeah,
Well, I mean,
and
plus-
then went straight to instructionally right after that. So I had
Yeah.
2 weeks after I got done in New York, and then go home and pretty much unpack and then repack, and then head right back to
Jeez.
Florida for another month, and then we're done in like around Halloween, or maybe just
Yeah.
a little bit after Halloween.
crazy.
So like the World Series is going on, and we're still
Playing in
on the
Arizona.
baseball field.
I'm in
We're
Arizona.
still,
He's in Florida.
yeah, we're still doing what we're doing.
Wow. So if the Cardinals, let's say the Cardinals organization wins the World Series, and let's say you're in the extended league, do you guys get the rings too, or how do they?
It's just the
No.
roster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just if
Is it the 40-man, or?
you suited up, if you put on a jersey and you were in the dugout, you got a ring.
Yeah.
Whether you got traded, released,
Really.
Every team,
Whatever.
and also every team's different.
Oh, that makes
like, I mean, I don't know about rings, but like there's shares and stuff like that when you win. Like every team,
that's
like,
a whole nother deal.
That's a whole nother thing.
That's a
But like when you
whole
win,
nother
you get another.
I didn't even
share.
know that you get
Yeah.
shares. Did you?
No, and I got to start taking notes because I got to dive back on some things. But I want to finish your journey. You went
Yeah.
Springfield AA, and then you got called up to the big leagues from there, or did you go
No.
AAA?
So I was in Memphis when that happened. So I made all those stops. Had a full year in Quad Cities, a full year. I'd say about half a year in Palm Beach, and then I got called up pretty quick to AA in 2009. I think it was after like the first month or two, and I got to play my first game here in Tulsa against the Drillers at the old ballpark.
Oh yeah.
So that was pretty.
Grocery store out there?
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Walgreens in left field.
Walgreens.
That's where Pudge got married.
Right. Just
Walgreens are on the field.
No, they probably got the card from Walgreens. Yeah, he got called up to the Rangers.
Oh, yeah,
and
I
the same
did see
day he
that.
was
That's
scheduled to
cool.
get married at Driller Stadium with all his teammates. He got called up that morning, and he was like, "Well, I'm gonna get married before I go." Yeah. Got married on the diamond, and then big leagues for him ever then. But so then you went. When did you get called up to the Cardinals?
So I was in Memphis, and I had no idea like what happened to make me go to the big leagues. But we had a day game, and the Cardinals had a night game, and so we already played our game, and we were like kind of wandering the streets around Memphis. I don't know if you've ever been to Memphis, but there's
safe.
a lot of like
I'll send you play in Memphis and Springfield. So.
yeah. So there's like a lot of stuff to do like right around the ballpark.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you can just walk around. There's Beale Street. There's a bunch of
Yeah.
really good barbecue.
Yeah.
And so a few of us were just out there watching the game, and I got a call from my manager, which is very strange because like you don't really get a call from the manager. It's either really good news or really bad news. And so
Yeah.
I have no idea what to think, and I wasn't really playing well at that time either.
Right.
It was like couple weeks into the season, so it's pretty early, and I'm thinking, I'm like, man, am I going back to Double A, or am I getting released? Like, I have no idea what's going on.
Right.
And so my buddy comes with me, and like the other guys just kind of stay behind. He's like, the manager calls me. He's like, let me meet you at the front gate of the ballpark. So I'm like, I have no idea what to think. He didn't say meet me in the clubhouse. Didn't meet me here.
Yeah,
Just like
front
meet
gate.
me at the front gate.
That's a weird thing to say too.
It's like, yeah.
Was it before or after game?
After our game, and
Oh,
the
man,
Cardinal
that's even
game,
worse.
the Cardinal game was still going on, so
Oh.
it was nighttime. So we're walking
Yeah.
around, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll meet you at the front gate in 10 minutes. You know, and I live on the other side of the ballpark, so me and my buddy were walking over, and he's just standing out there like all by himself. He's from like Jackson, Mississippi. He's got a saying for everything. He's one of the funniest guys I've ever met, and so we sit there and talk, and I'm like, all right, what's going on? Like, what's the deal? He's just like, somebody got hurt. You're going to the big leagues. He shakes my hand. He's like, go in and pack. You're gonna.
We'll see you.
Yeah.
God, what was that for?
much. I mean, I didn't know what to think.
Let me ask you,
Just,
what was the first call, or was it because I know your family. Listen, awesome family, right?
Yeah.
And then you guys are so tight. Like, who was the first call? What was that process?
So, got in, packed, did everything I needed to do, and then it was, by this time I get everything ready to go, and I'm like, either ready to leave that night. He's like, I'm probably not going to sleep too much tonight.
Yeah.
So I'll try and leave first thing in the morning because I got a game, the next night. So I get everything ready, and I call my mom and my dad. I call them whichever one I think is going to pick up. Nobody picks up.
That's Bobby Lane.
Call my little brother, doesn't pick up. Call my big brother, doesn't pick up. Call my sister, she don't pick up.
So now you're like, does my phone work?
And then, I'm like, I know it works.
I mean, and this man, did you have an iPhone by then?
I don't know.
Okay. The man rocked a flip phone for like 4 years
I
after
can't
he got
remember.
drafted.
I can't remember.
He tried to page me, but I couldn't get a hold of him. Sorry about this.
And then, I call the guy I hit with back home, and he picked up immediately. He was just like, yeah, it's not too late for him. He'll pick up. So I talked to him for a little bit, and he's like, dude, hell yeah, that's great. Like, I'm not going to be able to make it, but, like, you need to call your parents, and you need to let them know. Like, you need this. You have to let them know.
Yeah.
And so I call my brother, my big brother, he picks up. He's like, dude, no way. He was really excited.
That's
excited as Matt can be.
Yeah, that's just very exciting. Hey,
Awesome,
dude,
man.
we just won the World Series. All right, man, good job, dude. I'm so proud of you. Okay, cool.
That's so cool.
That's very exciting.
Yeah, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
High five.
I gotta go. Yeah.
And then,
Thanks for calling me.
and so he was pretty excited because he's like, dude, I didn't sleep like hardly all that night.
Yeah.
I was like, me neither. And then, so I called my parents. I'm not kidding you. I probably called them 6 or 7 times before they picked up. They were just like, hello. I'm like, hey, guess what? Like, I'm going to the big leagues. They're just like, oh my gosh, we won't be able to make it.
We're not gonna be there.
But yeah, like, so the next day I drove up early in the morning, and got there probably the field at like noon for like a 7 o'clock game. So I was like,
Yeah.
I had no idea what to do.
Well, yeah,
so
what do you
get
do?
there,
Like,
get there, unpack, and kind of get the lay of the land.
Do you ring the doorbell? Hello, I'm here to talk to the manager. I just got called up, please.
Another funny story. You saw my dad drive up before we started this, and so I was driving that car. That was mine.
Oh, yeah.
I was driving that car. I drive it up to the gate right under the ballpark, and so there's a guard shack. And so I drive up and be like, hey, I just got called up. My name's so and so, and I need to get into the ballpark.
She's like, yeah, sure, buddy, you're the 5th one today. Keep it moving.
Something along those lines, because there's just like no way you're a player driving that kind of car.
Which was I think it's a
It's a Trailblazer.
2006 Trailblazer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember little black stallion.
Oh, dude, I got a story for that. Go ahead.
So it gets a park.
Oh, it's super nice.
Our parking spot.
Well, it's right next to like Matheny's, like 20-inch jacked up GMC, and then right next to like Yachty's Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the roller coaster of
Yeah.
like 24 hours right there. It was pretty.
And you drove up from Memphis, so
Yeah, it was like a 4 or 5 hour drive.
that's
It's
not too bad.
pretty easy.
So how long was you? I mean, when you got called up, how long were you there? Did you end up going back anywhere? Kind of what was that process?
So that year was like just like topsy turvy. So I got called up in May, and then was there for about three-ish weeks. Got sent back down for like a week or two. Then got called right back up because somebody else got hurt. I was up there for about another week and a half, and then got sent back down. And then I stayed the rest of the year in Memphis. And so that was 2011, and then they go on to win the World Series, talking about those shares that those guys get. So
what is that?
I had no idea. So I learned this later on. So if you're there the entire year, they have a shares meeting before the playoffs start.
Because you got called up September though, right? No?
No, I wasn't there at all. Because they had those big trades. They had for Call.
Oh, yeah.
They had Dotel. They had Arthur Rhodes. They had all those the huge blockbuster trade that they made. And so that year I didn't get called up. But if you're there the whole year, you're in a meeting just like this, but with everybody that's there for the whole year. And then they talk about, all right, so however much money is being divvied out. So however much money the MLB makes or each team makes per year, that gets divvied up to each player, each individual player.
Or
it's
like one share.
player.
One share is like $350,000.
If you win the World Series, that's one full share. That's one full share.
that club gets, right?
Yeah.
that each
Well,
player.
that's
I know,
for one person.
Oh,
For
Like,
one person.
I know Madison Bumgarner, when they did that he got like 2 or 3 shares because they voted to give him that because when he won the World Series, because he pitched game 1, game 4, and game 7,
Yeah.
and crushed,
And won
so
the
like, they were like, hey man, you're getting
extra
Yeah.
shares.
Yeah.
So that you're
So-
in a meeting, so
Yeah, so whenever that happens,
Yeah.
that's among the players. That's all just the players.
Gotcha.
And this
I
money
have
gets
no
divvied up to the coaches, to the staff, whoever is there.
clubhouse guys, all that.
So the players,
The
players
bat
make-
boys, like
What?
the bat boys are in high school, like
Yeah.
getting however much money they're getting.
What?
It's insane. Like
That's
The
crazy.
Bat Boys are?
if I remember right, we gave a couple. Like I think we had 2 bat boys the whole year. Like they were
Yeah.
consistent.
You'd like, hey,
They got them.
get half a share.
They got them a half share. That's $150,000.
That's crazy.
To a kid in high school,
Hey,
that pays for the college.
Babe, guess what?
That's
Nobody changed
that's
their whole
life changing money.
Changed their
That's
whole life.
life-changing
Listen, I'm
money.
turning my 2 weeks. I'm gonna be a bad boy.
We're gonna start training Harper.
I've
to be
seen
a
older
bat
bad
girl.
boys.
That's crazy. I mean, hey, both of y'all can help.
Yeah. So the players will get, they'll say, they're like, hey, September or the meeting or whatever, and they're like, we have 60 shares or whatever to divvy up, or 70 shares, and then they decide, like if Yachty or whoever, Wainwright, they might be like, we're going to give you 2 shares. If they just shit the bed and play terribly through October, can they take those back?
No, I mean you wait till the end.
Oh, you wait till
you're done.
you wait till you're done.
So I know of a player. It's a crazy story. Hurts his lat. Throws 3 pitches in big league camp. Okay, so when you're in big league camp and you get hurt, you're basically on the big league roster. They put you just on the 60-day DL.
Yeah.
And so he was on the 60-day the entire year. Okay, the entire year with his team. They end up winning the World Series. He never throws a pitch after that in the big league whatsoever. They're all young. It's a young roster.
Yeah.
He gets a full year of big league salary because he's on the 60-day. And then they said everybody that's on the 40-man roster, let's all give them a share. And he got a share And so
Yeah,
he
dude.
made almost $1 million, didn't throw threw 3 pitches on his
Jeez.
That's
And again,
crazy.
Oh, that.
I wish I got shares
Yeah.
at work.
Good for him.
Yeah.
So how long were you up when you got called up? How long? I know you said you went back and forth, but what was the longest that you stayed with being in the pros?
So that year was just about a month, maybe a little over.
2011.
It was 2011. 2012, I was in Memphis almost the entire year. I think the end of August, the beginning of September, like towards the end of our season, because the Major League plays another full month after that. So I want to say it was about a month, and then we made the playoffs again in 2012. So I was there because Furcal got hurt. I think he had Tommy John, and then I pretty much just filled in. I played shortstop throughout the whole entire playoffs. So I'm getting thrown right into the fire,
Literally.
not getting very, very little
Yeah.
experience, and that's kind of like how I got my
Debut.
my
or
start,
whatever.
my
Yeah.
starter or whatever.
Did you guys play Boston World Series that year, right? Or was that
That was the next year.
Yeah.
That was the next year. So got to play.
That's why I said, how
my
dare you wear a Boston jersey?
And
He
then,
did it on purpose.
so I got my first taste of playoff baseball.
Yeah.
I kind of knew I've played a lot of playoff baseball, but this is a little different.
Yeah, for sure.
This is a little different. And then
He's playing the toughest position.
Yeah.
Arguably the toughest position.
Yeah.
And
So
probably one of the toughest towns
Yeah.
to play in fan base wise. Like, they're great, but they expect you to be really
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that was in
Yeah.
2013, right?
that was in 2012. This is still
Yeah.
2012.
Okay, gotcha.
2012.
Yeah, yeah.
So about a month plus the playoffs. For some reason, the playoffs don't count towards anything really.
Gotcha.
And then we lost Game 7 of the NLCS. So pretty much the game right before we get to the World Series. So we just
Yeah.
needed to win one more game.
game.
We ended up losing to the Giants, and then that whole next year I was in the big leagues the entire year, and then we go to the
Yeah.
World Series, play against the.
got robbed of a Gold Glove, in my opinion.
I agree.
You got to hit better than I did.
So that's when
Nine errors, everyday shortstop. It's pretty
Yeah.
tough to do.
Did you play all 162?
No, 130 something games.
That's insane, though.
Yeah.
Just to have 9
Yeah.
errors and 100. I mean,
I don't know how many
it's
chances
at least
we got.
less than an error a
It's a
game.
lot.
Little fun fact.
Yeah.
Besides Yachty, we had an all-white infield.
Really?
All-white infield. And,
Oh, so you
and
had-
we were the best infield. Most chances, least amount of errors. We had David Freese at third.
Yeah.
We had short.
just got
Matt Carpenter
Oh,
at second.
Carpenter,
at
yeah.
second. Alan Craig at first.
yeah. Well,
And then
Craig,
Matt
yeah.
Adams ended up filling in. when
See that
Craig
immaculate
got
grid,
hurt.
Alan Craig. That's a great one that I don't
That is.
think of.
oh, that is a good
And
one.
he
Yeah,
fit
yeah.
in the Red Sox
But-
game,
Yeah,
too.
also
Like-
remember this.
Like you don't see that anymore.
No.
All white
Yeah.
infield,
Oh, you
leading
don't see- yeah.
leading the entire league, not just the National League, but the entire league.
It's like some 1920s baseball.
Well, but I mean, you don't see that. I mean, because it's so international now. You
Yeah.
don't see
That's
true. How much the game's
American-born
grown.
players play across all the positions.
Yeah.
Because you look at certain organizations, they're primarily international based, which
Yeah.
is crazy.
That's a
Yeah.
good point. Yeah, that was so 13 was when we clinched, right? And that's when so listen to this. So
You were there. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
So
say we.
We go. Yeah, man, I was third baseman, all white infield. Yeah, all right. Well, I'm a little Mexican.
Malino, huh?
Yeah, shout out Yachty, my brother, and Jose.
And Benji.
And
Don't forget
Benji.
Benji.
I met all them. I'll get to that story. So we go there and we go watch them play, and they clinch. They have a family room you get into, and we were known as the Oklahoma boys, not because we're wild, but just because we like to have fun.
And happen to be from Oklahoma.
Yeah, so we're in this family room. We've had a few cold beers, and they're always like, they're like, what are they gonna do? What are we gonna do tonight? After they played,
Yeah.
And Pete was always the last one out. He was like, I swear he took like a 7-hour shower. The beer, they didn't serve any beer. Then he'd come out and he'd be like, all right, boys, what we doing? We go for fired up. I said,
Now
beers.
it's midnight.
It was over at 10.
I already got a hangover. I'm waiting on you.
So anyways, then the lady there, she was super cool. And she was like, because we went to multiple games. And she's like, Mo, go inside. I was like, really? I was like, can I go? I was like, little kid, can I go? He's like, yeah, go. So she's like, I'm going to get Pete, come out and get you, and we'll go back. Dude, I was like a kid, dude. That's when you see the champagne. They had like plastic on there. never experienced it. And I was in there, they were dancing, and I felt like I was one of the guys. I mean, I played outfield, I'm pretty sure that night.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that rush.
And it was crazy. Then I told Yachty that I was his brother, and he's like, no, you're not. And then I was like,
looking
okay,
like-
well, I mean, I feel like I'm
Check
taller than
my
you.
pop time.
But, and that's another thing with Yachty. I mean, speaking of the Cardinals, dude, I mean, what was it like playing with him?
He was the best, like literally the best. If he isn't a first ballot Hall of Famer,
Yeah,
somebody missed that.
I mean, what?
Missed
How?
that.
I mean,
He's the best. He's
how many
always-
Golden Glove?
That's too many.
I mean, it's
What's
like
and there's like a stat that I'll try to pull up while you guys talk, but
He's
it's
like-
like,
he's
the
like
stolen
the-
bases like during Yachty's tenure as a catcher,
not
and
even
then after.
It's like
so was he? So was he like a? You know, was it, you know, you watch him play, and he's obviously so serious, and but he seems like he's having fun. But was he fun to play with, or was he serious? Is there like guys in the dugout, which was like not fun to play with, or was he just kind of laid back? Or
so like when we're like between the lines, when the game we're on, like
Yeah.
he is absolutely dialed in, and he was always looking for that extra edge.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you see, I see this video or this replay. They show it on commercials all the time, and I don't know if it's just the Cardinals or whatever it is, like ESPN. I don't remember what it is, but he's like down there giving signs, and he's like looking out of the corner of his eye, and he's always looking for something. He does it all the time. So he doesn't want you, if you're a base runner,
Yeah.
you're at first base. He doesn't want you to know that he's looking at you. Like he'll look over
Yeah,
to the
little
side
side glance.
while he's giving signs and making sure that the hitters, like he's
That's
always
crazy.
looking for that extra
Yeah.
edge. So if you're not paying attention on the bases and you're not on the base, like he was probably going to look to pick you off. Like there's always something to look for.
Yeah.
And for those 3.5, 4 hours, however long the game lasts, like he is absolutely dialed in. And
Dialed in.
if you are not dialed in, he's going to let you know.
Yeah.
And he is
Yeah.
probably going to wear you out.
Oh yeah, I seen the
Yeah.
one. It was like on TikTok, or like you said, commercial. I don't know if it's Cardinals or whatever, but he backpicked the first, and the guy slide in. He was like, he
Yeah,
did
like
the
World
Oh,
Baseball
yeah.
Classic.
he did
Yeah.
the
He's
thing,
trying to
and,
run, he's
then
like, go ahead.
he's like, Yachty goes like that.
I'm pretty
freaking-
sure that was Jose Siri.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure it was.
And he
Could have
threw-
been
he
some.
It was with the Houston Astros because he's like, go ahead.
Yeah.
Just keep
He's
going,
like,
man.
Siri
he
was
throws
for
him
the
out
Astros.
like, I mean,
By
about
5
3
feet.
feet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the stat?
Since like 2005, I think this was like until like one of his last years in the league, the stolen bases allowed in the MLB since he became a starter. It was like Cardinals 886, and then the next team was the Diamondbacks at 1,310. So it's like a crazy gap, like freaking
I
600
dare you to
less,
run.
Yeah.
I dare you to run.
700 less stolen bases. Yeah, freaking stud.
So what about you, Park? So like, were you a PO there, or like going through the organizations, or did you
Yeah.
play
No, I
first,
mean-
or what was the?
I wish I played first. I played first.
I mean, he's like 6'8". So I
Yeah,
figured,
we had to hit until. I mean, I had to hit my entire career if we faced a National League team, which stunk. I mean, I don't want to face that. I mean, I don't want to face myself. It was
Yeah.
brutal. I just actually told a story today. I had to face Carlos Martinez in AA, and I mean, it's crazy.
Ripped
He's
one.
like 5'8", but his shoulders are like supposed to fit
Yeah.
like a 6'8" guy. Like
Yeah.
it's hilarious. He's built like this.
Upside down triangle.
Yeah, exactly. And he, which is crazy, is I'm sitting here, facing him, and I'm going like, all right, here we go, ready to go. Next thing you know, I'm like, oh man, that's not incredibly fast. Like it looks way faster from the side over here.
Yeah, I can
And then he
do
throws a slider, and I see out of his hands, and I'm like, oh, that looks like super slow. Like what's going on? Like I come back and I'm asking the catcher Perez. I was like, is he messing with me? Is it like way slower? Like what's the deal? And so I walk. I get a walk, and I go down
Nice.
first, and then I, ground into a double play, and I'm just like, sweet, gonna go back throw.
Yeah.
I pitch, go back upstairs to grab a towel or something like that, and our guy's charting the game, like, Frage, how was it? I was like, it wasn't that bad. He goes, yeah, he took it easy on you. He was only 96 to 100 against you, and he was 101 to 103 against everyone else. I was like, oh, cool.
Way to help the pitcher out.
But I'm sitting here like this. I look at the slider. I look up and I was like, oh, that wasn't that bad. 85. I was like, oh.
Oh,
I'm like,
okay.
all right.
Yeah,
and then
that's-
I'm like, huh. I'm like, that's not that bad. But I had to face Trevor Rosenthal, Michael Walker, and it was funny is
Ooh, those
I
are good ones.
Both.
like I sat here against Springfield, and Kent Mathis because I had a big league take on Michael Walker's curveball for a ball, and he goes, dude, you took that good. Like, what'd you see? I was like, the bro shook. I knew he wasn't throwing a heater because the Perez calls nothing but fastballs against pitchers. And he goes, oh. He goes, that makes more sense. I was like, yeah. I was like, as soon as Walker shook, I was like, he forgot a pitcher was up.
Yeah.
I was like, so I must have looked good in uniform with a bat in my hand or something. But he shook for a 1-1 curveball. I'm going like, what are you doing, dude?
So was Manny Ramirez the toughest? What was the toughest batter you faced? Because I've asked you this.
I faced I faced all like the. I never got to the big leagues. I never got put on a 40-man roster. I got to play professional baseball for 12 years. I'm very fortunate to say that. I can say I'm less than probably like 1% of guys who played throughout their entire contract.
That long and not get a taste
or anything like that. Which it's cool to say that, but like I mean, in 2011, I went to the Arizona Fall League, which is kind of like the all-star of all-stars of the organization. They send 7 each year, and it's like I'm one of. I am on the 4%. 95% of that league gets to the big leagues. Right. So I'm in the less than 5% that doesn't get there.
Yeah.
And so I was the dud. Firework that didn't go off. And so, but I mean, I faced in one game. I pitched 2 innings, and I had majority of because we had a really good starter going that day, and I had a really good Arizona Fall League. I had to face the lineup went like this. It went Joe Panic, big leagues, and for San Francisco Giants.
Yeah.
Brandon Crawford, big leagues, Giants. Yeah. Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, Hank Conger, Darren Ruff.
Jeez.
I went 6 batters, 5 Ks, and a deep fly to center. I was like, I have to be getting.
How did you never get called? Like, I mean, it sounds like you had pretty good stuff.
So to get to the big leagues, it is all about timing and opportunity. So it's easier to get there. It's harder to stay. Yeah. So, and I mean, and for me, so I retired. I had like a weird 2013 or 12, like 2012. I led the minor leagues in innings pitched. I led the minor leagues in double plays induced. Like the most ground ball percentage of how many pitches I threw, whatever it was. It was just the stats that were weird. The next year in spring training was my first actual like invite to big league camp in 2013, and rookies get hazed. Yeah. And so they bring it out there and they're like, Frazier, what's your record? And I was like, 5-14. They go, how many innings you throw? 170 something. What was your A? Like 3.8. And then I had Nolan Arenado on my team. I had Warren Schaefer, Josh Rutledge. I had like 6 big leagues on my team. And they like call them all out. And they're like, why couldn't you guys hit? I mean, I had to face Trevor Rosenthal, Michael Walker, Carlos Martinez. Like I had to face dudes who were in the big leagues that year, all stars or close to it. But I think they had crazy stats. Like if they scored 3 runs a game, I would have won 13 games. Right. If they scored 4 runs a game for me, I would have won 17 games.
Yeah, stats there.
Yeah. So I mean, literally. And so you look at it in 2012. I thought I should have got called up. It's crazy though. Is I go into my big league pre-meeting. Yeah. For everything, like my pre-spring training meeting with him. Walt Weiss is a brand new manager rolling in there, and I mean, it's the crazy thing is it's in a room just like this, but I have like 6 guys lined up around me, 6 to 10, whatever, and then Walt Weiss, and it's like GM, assistant GM, pitching coordinator, AAA pitching coach, big league pitching coach.
All the bosses.
They're all in my meeting, and they played this 3-minute highlight reel of me just doing great, and he's like. And they go like, hey, at the end, it's like, hey, man, that's awesome, dude. Like, we're looking for you to do this. Like, and they go, do you have any questions? And I go, yeah. Like, what prevented me to get called to the big leagues? Because like, I thought I did pretty well, and we had 43 pitchers in the big leagues, and I wasn't one of them. Like, what the heck, you know? And I had to get protected. And and it's probably like. My smart mouth didn't get to me because I was kind of just fed up at the point with that with the organization because it's my 7th year and it's tough and
when you're pitching very very well.
Well, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But I mean, and they go and nobody would answer me, and then my assistant GM answers me, and I'll never forget. And I just was like, I shouldn't have said that. He goes, well, we always saw you as a reliever, and I go. Why the F have I been starting the last 6 years then? Yeah. Like, I mean, and I just kind of lost my cool for a second. And it was one of those things that I think in 2000, I thought in 2012 I had a shot. You know, and there's a couple of times that I had my field coordinators and people tell me that, you know, my jersey was made, my number was called, and they went a different direction at the time. And, you know, you think of it, it just shows you that you never know what's going to happen,
Right.
and it can change in any second.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're like, and I'm not mad that I never got called to the big leagues. Like,
Yeah.
it'd been a cool experience. I think my life would be completely different in the way what I'm
100%.
doing. Like, I don't know if I would be in coaching if I was in the
Yeah,
big leagues.
I totally
Yeah.
agree.
In high
Everything
school.
happens
So,
for a reason.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so I thank God that I'm in the position that I'm in now,
Yeah.
and so that's where it is. But I mean, it's one of those things that there's probably, you know, 2014, I'm with the White Sox. I don't think I could throw any better. They're struggling, they're bottom tier. 2015, I get traded to the from Arizona to Oakland, and I go to Oakland, and me and Sean Manaea, big lefty, big leaguer, like we go there. It's the second, third day of the second half of the season. I think they won. You could check back, but I think we each had like a combined of like 22 starts. The team won like 19 of them.
wow.
We just went off, and I was like, and I was in AAA. I made 2 starts. I was going like, okay, like, and I asked John Wasden, my pitching coach, I was like, hey man, like, am I gonna get a shot to go back to AAA? Like, I'm carving. Like, I had like a .6 ERA and 6 starts. Like, it was the best I've ever thrown in a stretch without just absolutely giving up an 8 spot and just getting shelled.
So going back to what he said about like how come he never got a shot, and I just going through what I went through, guys had to get hurt, and on top of that I had to play well, like in the opportunity and playing well and not having guys in front of you like younger playing whatever different positions. Like there's so many things that could have happened that could have happened that I couldn't even made it. Like I know that, but there was nobody else. Like they had to look for somebody, and I could catch the ball. And they were just like, all right, well, we can feel that. I could catch it, and if I put the ball in play, you know, that was a plus, and I ended up doing that for. You know,
and that's so much pressure.
Months.
I mean, because you think, too, is like what you guys are saying, 7 ball clubs. I mean, I didn't know that, and that's just so many more players that you have to beat out.
Well, it's like the Rockies. It's funny, though. Like, so the Rockies had the Tulsa Drillers in 2012, 13, maybe 14, I think. And then they switched to the LA Dodgers, which is great. So, but the same clubhouse guy was mine and theirs. And so we had Sam.
He was my first one whenever I went to Iowa. He was in Quad Cities.
Yeah. So now we're sitting here like this, and I'm like, hey man, I'm done playing, or I'm like at home or hurt or whatever it was, and I just see him before a game, and he has this wall of players of like who moves up, down, comes season.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, the Rockies would have like 6. That's how much they moved. They like if you got moved up. Like, it was a celebration because it never happened in the Rockies organization.
Really?
Like, you had to, like, it was, you got moved up to the next level. You didn't really go AA to the big leagues. Like, it was, like, just, like, Nolan Arenado should have been in the big leagues 2 years before he even got called up.
Yeah.
Like, it was unreal. But, like, that's what I'm saying. But the Dodgers, at the All-Star break, they had 122 moves. And the Rockies had 6 in the same level. And it's just different organizational experience. Like I always said, if I was in a different organization, I would have matured faster. I would have done things different. But I mean, I think if I went to the Dominican earlier in my career, I would have picked up on so many different things that just we don't do in the minor leagues that helped me mature, be better, understand pressure a little different, understand effect. And obviously, when you get older, you mature differently. I mean, and as much as I think I should have got to the big leagues, there's plenty of opportunities I squandered by being a 25-year-old Nimrod and just not taking care of my body right, not going to sleep, not doing stuff. I mean, there's plenty of blame to go around on everything, but it's just all like you said, all the pieces fall into place.
Well, that's what's crazy too is like you guys are 18 years old. You know, a lot of players getting drafted and then being thrown into this, you know, crazy whirlwind of minor league baseball and trying to get to the show where you just get drafted in that summer as an 18-year-old where you go from summers where you're, you know, having fun, maybe driving around with your friends, you know, getting in a little trouble, you know, still training for baseball to like, hey, you're on a plane to all these different cities, you're going through all this different stuff, you're going through staying in hotel rooms, traveling with the team, you're throwing so much more as a pitcher than you did in high school, I would assume.
Well, I mean, for the
'cause,
most
like,
part.
I mean, whenever I played in JUCO and I was pitching, I didn't pitch a ton in high school, but I pitched enough. But man, they wore my ass out.
Yeah.
And the season's longer than it is a high school season, and then it could go. You're playing a huge 80-game season.
I think that's
and-
what people don't understand, and when they come out of high school or come out of college, that 144 games. And it might be 150 now, but I mean,
I think it's 40.
140.
They cut it down.
So it's so when our first year, you're going okay, I played 2 half seasons, I'm there all year, I get it's a long year, but it's 140 games.
Like, how many you play in high school right now? What's their season?
We're allowed 37.
37.
And then
Plus
the
playoffs.
Playoffs,
50,
maybe.
45.
Maybe.
I mean, we played 41 last year and we made it to the finals.
Yeah.
So, and then just hey, you're going to take that 18-year-old arm that you're conditioned for 40-something games,
Yeah.
and you're going to go, and now
basically
they
had a
want you to
month half,
play
yeah.
100 more on top of that,
Yeah.
and hope your arm holds up, and because
And
Which is why they
That's
conditioned
what-
him. They
yeah.
kind of put him on that plan. So
yeah,
he
so you
doesn't-
get
And so
built
those
up.
are the things I didn't get paid a lot, right? So
Yeah.
I got paid enough, but I didn't get paid a lot. To where it's okay, hey, we want to take care of him. His delivery's not perfect, all this other stuff. I mean, I was dominating the next year at 19, where I was hurt or whatever. I think I had Tommy John, and then I was rehabbing. I was throwing great, but Tyler Matzik got pushed in the Rockies organization because he was a first rounder and got $7 million or whatever
Yeah.
it was. He should never have been pushed that fast because he wasn't mature enough to do it.
Right, your arm's
I
not
mean,
ready for that.
no, just
level.
mentally.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mental aspect too.
It's so taxing on you, and I mean, you're alone. There's nobody there.
Right.
You're by yourself. I mean, dude,
Yeah.
I cried so many times. After
Yeah.
getting my crap kicked in. I mean, it's one of those things that you're
you're alone,
well, you just don't know if you're good enough.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing is when you show up, once I realized that it was a job, and I did at 19, and it was the wrong mentality as a 19-year-old. My dad pitched in the big leagues for 10 years. I had Rob Walton, who's a guru at Oklahoma State forever. I mean, at Team USA, so many. I just told him, I said, screw it. I'm going to go with these 2 guys and then screw the world. I'm just going to go. And then I had immediate success doing what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so that wasn't the right mindset of how to do it. But once I entered, but the one thing I did was it was a job.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything else because as quick as it came, as soon as I saw that next shuffle of 46 guys coming into our locker room, not all pitchers, but 46 dudes coming in the next year, I'm going in spring training, now they're my enemy.
Yeah.
And that's why I think professional baseball is the hardest game in the world in organizations to play in. And the sport is because it's the most individualized game wrapped around a team concept.
Yeah.
Because as much as I want to get to the big leagues, there's 12 more guys on my roster
Yeah.
that are doing the same thing.
You might be teammates with these jerseys on and
Yeah.
camaraderie in the
But-
locker room, but you're all fighting for.
And I might have complained a lot about who went up and down, and then looking back at it, I'm going okay, there's probably I complained about 30 moves, and 21 of them made really good sense of why or why not.
Yeah.
And but you didn't realize because there's organizational players. Nobody wants to hear that, but
Yeah.
you might just be that guy that just fills in a spot for 3 years until you're good enough to stay there, but you're not good enough to move up.
Yeah.
So you just hold the roster spot too. But I mean, I think because I was a decent locker room guy, that's why I lasted so
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
I showed up, did my job, did whatever I could do, and didn't cause ruckus, didn't show up any players.
That's a good
rock
thing.
the boat
That's a
too
good point.
much.
So, Pete, what was your your family got, brothers and sisters and stuff. So, what was a hard kind of transition to that where it's okay, now I know probably in single, double A, probably have a roommate, right, that they bring on. Was it still hard where you're okay, now I'm gonna have to grow, because to me, you're 18, 19 years old, you had to grow up pretty quick.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean?
It's a quick shuffle.
It's thinking about, shoot, there's no way I could have. And to be in that mindset and also in that space where, you're at the top of your game, so to speak. You know what I mean? What was that like?
So it's a shock for sure. Moving to right out of high school, right into summer, you go to Gulf Coast, West Palm Beach, Florida.
And no one holds your hand, by the way. There's not a guy saying, hey, this 18-year-old kid needs some help. Let's take this group of kids.
Yeah.
They don't do that. They're hey, man, you got to get a shuttle to the ballpark. Like,
And you're like,
Really?
you gotta find out the information. Like, in spring training, like instruction when you get there. Like, I'm in Tucson, Arizona, and like, first day in, I get there, and then it's like, man.
it's like you're on your own, bud.
Yeah.
You go from having
you
your
have a
parents
time.
cook you dinner every night in high school. You go practice, go to school. You got your lunch.
Gotta find
So,
your own, man.
good luck, bud.
So now you're in, what'd you say,
So you right out of high
crazy.
school, I go to Gulf Coast, Florida,
Yeah.
and there's one of two American guys. The rest are Dominican,
Yeah.
Cuban, Colombia or whatever. Nobody else speaks English except for me and one other guy. So we become pretty buddy really quick. And I was only there for 2 weeks, and I was like, man, I don't know if I could do this.
Yeah.
Like for 2 weeks, like and freaked out, and then go to Johnson City, Tennessee. I was like, all right, now there's a mix of college guys, a mix of high school guys, like here and there, and like it's a little bit of, still a culture shock. Cause I was like, where's Johnson City, Tennessee? I have no idea.
I still don't.
Johnson.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
and so
rock me, mama, like a...
yeah,
That place. I know
Yeah,
it.
I've been there.
I've been there in my mind.
And then like going to Batavia, New York, which is an absolute dump.
Where is that at? Is it north?
It's in
never heard of that
upstate.
either.
It's in upstate
New York.
and it's probably 2 hours from the Canadian border.
I think you guys were talking about a Kolashi shop earlier.
Yeah.
Old Batavia's. Get a Kolashi.
No, have another drink.
That was a place, huh?
So that was tough.
So that was like
Yeah,
my
yeah.
first trip. That was my
Right.
first like time away from home, and that was just 2 or 3 months. And I'm back for 2 weeks, and I get to go back to Florida for instructional week.
So
it
what was
like,
that? I mean,
everything happened like super fast,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, and you're so busy. You're playing baseball every day. It's like, all right, like we do play baseball. Like
Yeah.
this is what I want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't realize like how tired I was until I got done with those 2 months. I'm like, man, I'm tired. I am very, very tired.
Yeah.
So was there a time
Was-
that, for either one of y'all, I mean, I like to hear this, is where I know you're trying to make it, was there a time that you're like, I can't do this?
Yeah, I mean, it's
know what
not
I mean?
only
Like,
physically.
2013 All-Star break in AAA. I'll tell you,
Yeah.
I retired for a week, and they begged and pleaded, asked me to come back. I threw an inning, and then I was just like, and they found out it was just a mental thing.
8 years in.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I was like, I got tired. My pitching coach basically was just being an absolute like terrible person, man. Like, I mean, I can tell you, like right now, like I was having a bad time in AAA. There's things that were getting taken advantage of me. Like nobody was communicating with me. They thought he was, but nobody was.
No,
And,
he
I
actually
mean, I had
was.
Chris Volstad and Logan Kinsing, 2 big leaguers, helped me out. Shout out boys. Like they
Shout
were,
out, boys.
Shout
They
out to
were,
the boys.
they were awesome. They were my pitching coach. I had a spot start, and my pitching coach isn't out there with me. Like they're out there standing behind me, helping me
Jeez.
out.
Damn, that sucks.
And so, but dude, we're in Tacoma, Washington, playing the Rainiers. And we're sitting here. Corey Reardon goes down, rolls his ankle on a bunt. I get called into the game. I get to warm up on the mound. Probably the most embarrassing thing in the world when
This
someone
is
goes down.
the worst.
Like,
This is the worst thing for anybody. I don't care if you're a pitcher, position player. I don't care. Somebody gets hurt, like freak thing. You have to warm up on the
The game
field
now.
in front of the
Everybody,
entire crowd.
Everybody, the entire crowd. So
You get to
I'm
start
getting
like
loose.
lobbing,
Lobbing,
playing catch, getting loose, whatever,
Oh, so
on the
that's
field.
terrible.
Second inning. I haven't done anything. Second inning, I just walked down there.
Oh,
And so I go like this.
and
I
for
get-
position players?
well,
like,
they
I
can.
mean,
They have to go out there, but it's just pitchers. It's brutal. But yeah.
But you got to do soft toss
You gotta sit there and
like
wait.
warm up the arm and then start.
So
Yeah.
I-
Jumping jacks.
Yeah,
they have
I would do a
jump-
bunch of dumb stuff. Like, come on, you know, damn day, you gotta throw this rock.
You mean on the back. You got the heavy balls.
Yeah, man. But I mean, dude, I came in with 1 hour running on first base, and I proceeded to give up 7 runs, all unearned. We made 4 errors in the inning. Like we couldn't get out of the inning. And
Freaking baseball.
Then I get out of the inning, and I've given up no earned runs, and I pitched 2/3 of an inning, and I've thrown 45 pitches, and my pitching coach goes, "That's the worst display of pitching I've ever seen." And I'm going like,
What are you talking about?
And I just lost. I mean, granted, we had 3 years of being with each other, so
Yeah.
I mean, we pushed each other's
Yeah.
buttons
Yeah,
as
yeah.
best we could.
Yeah.
It was not a good mix, and everybody knew it. And then, so, I mean, we get in each other's face after we separated. Like, I mean, right then I call our farm director. I was like, bro, get me out of here. You can send me all the way back to rookie ball for all I care. I am not being
here.
around this guy
Yeah.
ever. And so, I mean, that's when I had
That
about
was
enough. And then I throw in a game, And I mean, it's crazy. Like I threw in a game for Tulsa. They activated me and they said, "Hey man, we're going to put you on the Phantom DL and you're just going to travel with the team." I was like, "I'm not traveling with the team. Screw that. You're 4 hours away. I'll just drive if you want to activate me. I'm not going to sit here and drive 4 hours and stay away from my house for 8 days and not do anything." So it was the last day of the road series or the home series, and they called me in and told me I get traded to the Reds. So I get traded to the Reds, and I go down there, and there's all kind of skepticism around me and my trade, and the Reds guys were like, "Oh man," he's like, they're like, and the pitching coach was an old guy, knew my dad. He's like, "What's going on, man?" I was like, "Dude, I just had terrible surroundings up there." It's like, that's it. I said, and they go, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Dude, how do I get, like, they call it, fly ball to ground ball ratio? Like my ground ball ratio, it's like 1.3 by every fly out, and that's pretty good. Anything over a 1 is really
Sounds
good.
good to me,
But my ground out to fly out ratio in AAA in Colorado Springs with the ball flying was a 3-to-1.
No gravity.
Yeah. No gravity. But then it's just a different perception. Like I throw my first game in we're up 6-2 in the 7th, and they're like, "Frazier, you got the next inning." It's like, awesome, sweet. I go in there and they think like, "Hey, don't put too much pressure." I was like, "I'm just gonna go do me, man." They're like, "Cool." I'm on the walkie-talkie, like they're like, I'm just gonna do me, brother. Like I go out there, Tucker Barnhart's our catcher, who's a big leaguer, awesome
Gold
dude.
Glover.
Yeah, awesome dude. Go out there, I go 1, 2, 3 with 2 punches, and Coach Browning looks at me and goes, "You're our new 8th inning guy." I was like, "Sweet, thanks, man."
Good job audition there.
Yeah, so I mean, it was
audition.
So it was then.
I mean, that's in 2013. I can tell you, dude, I was done with it, man. I was over it. I was ready just to say, like, "See you later, I'm done." And then, that kind of got me back going. But I mean, then like the White Sox reached out, asked me to go to big league camp, do all that stuff. And I mean, what they noticed is, which I didn't even notice, that I had 39 inherited runners that year. I had a 10 ERA in AAA. I had a really good one in AA. But I had a 10 ERA in AAA, or it might have been a little less than that. I don't know. So I mean,
inherited runners is when you come out of the game, and then whoever comes in behind you gives up those runs. So whoever he has on base, he gives a hit. Whatever.
So like I came in with runners on. So
first and second, you leave. Those are your runners still.
Yeah. So but when I would inherited runners, or when I come in and there's already runners.
So if a guy hits after you come out, guy hits a bomb, 2 of those earned runs are yours. If there's 2 guys on, 1 is the reliever.
Yes.
That's crazy.
So I came in with 39 guys on base that year, not knowing that, have no clue, and I only gave up one unherited runner. So I was basically, when I came out, I was 38 for 39 of not scoring. I didn't know that, so that gave me a boost of confidence going out of the pen, and so that's when
shutting them down.
Well, in 2014, man, I mean, you look at the statistics of like just first pitch strikes coming in there, being that guy, and the White Sox were kind of weird in that sense, but it was awesome to have that feeling of being back to where I was. It's just a different. When people say they need to go to a different environment, it's a real thing. But I mean, that's why I pride myself on trying to make the environment wherever I coach an environment.
And you can see that. You
try to get the kids to do the best they can.
I tell them
every year, I said, "I'm going to make it hard on you, but it's because I care." I said, and there's
for a reason.
Well, I had a kid this year. And he's observant, he's, quiet, and he just told me, "I just wish every one of my coaches I've ever had was like you." And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You will be yelling at that kid about the wrong coverage or, not doing the right thing or not having the right priority or whatever. And then I ask you a question about my responsibility and you don't yell at me. You just have a normal conversation. And then you go back to yelling at him. And so it's
directing your energy to appropriate levels.
But it's never, but they understand the level of expectation I have, I think. But they know it's all about the caring, which I told them. I said, I didn't get that in Pro Bowl. I could tell you maybe 5 coaches. I mean, General Scott's one of the best pitching coaches. It's why he's the Colorado Rockies big league coach. And he got the job, 8 years too late, in my opinion. Or they would have been in a different situation. But I mean, there's a lot of coaches that just don't do their job the way they should because they don't realize, or they're just secure, but they impact people more than what they think.
Well, then speaking on it, what you said is the impact on people. I mean, what I want to know, and I've never asked you, and I've known you for a long time, is, you were in the Cardinals organization for how long?
8 years.
8 years.
8 or 9 years.
So, whenever you got so listen, you're going to get traded or move to an organization. What was that feeling like? What was that? Because to me, it's like I see your whole career as a Cardinal, right? I mean, that's just I've known you for that long, and it's like, okay, you're a Cardinal, right? So, what was that like? Whenever facing that and like with your family and that transition, what was that like?
So, I was with them, like got drafted by them. So that was like obviously where I was comfortable. I knew like everybody. You kind of start seeing, like you said, you see new 46 there's a draft every year. So there was 50 rounds. So potentially 50 guys could come in, and they're right behind you every year. So I was with them for 8 years. So do the math. That's 1,300 guys. You know,
which is crazy.
Whatever that number is. I'm not a math guy.
Like we know.
Hey.
At least 1,000 guys come in every draft.
Athlete, not mathlete.
Usually I'm telling my guys, hey, you're a mathlete, not an athlete. Let's stick to what we know.
Athlete, not mathlete.
So that turnover, like you start to see it after a while. Like I was in the big leagues that whole year in 2013. I go back to Memphis in 2014. Get called back up at the end of that year, and then 15 I was there again in St. Louis for that whole year, and then I could kind of see, I was just like, all right, this is probably going to be my last year. Like not playing too much, get to fill in a little bit here, a little bit there, and then this guy behind me in AAA is killing it. Like he's crushing the ball, like he's playing good defense, he can play the same positions I can. He's a left-handed bat, I'm a right-handed bat. I was like, all right, this is probably it.
Who was it?
Just Greg Garcia.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So he's played in the big leagues for probably close to 10 years.
I played with his brother in the White Sox.
Drew.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Drew's
He's a
great.
great-
And
he's a good guy.
Me and Drew were probably exactly the same. Like couldn't hit too much, but I mean they can catch the ball.
Yeah.
Like that's what
I
we
love
did.
it says catches the ball. You know what I mean? It's like whenever you hit to him, we do it all the time. It's like it's just out of his glove, and I was like, okay, he catches a little bit. He can't count, but I hit. I feel like something.
And count the hops. Count the hops.
But
So anyways,
that process, like after getting, I wouldn't say really. I think it was just like my time was up, or whatever. And then, so at that point, it was like pretty much just a free agent. Like every team is up for grabs, and then the Yankees come and pick me up. So I'm sitting there. The Yankees to come and pick me up. I was like, oh, this is a pretty good.
So does your agent prep you on that? So like, listen, I have like this organization or this
These
organization.
suitors.
Is this kind of
Pretty much like my name's out there, my resume's out there. I really
Right.
don't have to do too much.
Yeah.
Like, he'll make a couple calls, or like teams will
Okay.
start calling
I got you.
him and start like pretty much just lobbying for a job. Like, hey, this is his resume. This is what he's done.
Yeah.
He's really good in the playoffs. The Yankees play in the playoffs almost
Right.
every year. They got a good track record. He's got a good
gotta
track
talk about
record.
that
It's
playoff
pretty. It's pretty good.
oh, dude,
You know, and so-
it was
Yeah.
dope.
So then the Yankees came calling after
The
that?
Yankee, and I ended up signing.
You played 3 years, didn't you?
2.
2?
I was 2 years. 2 years with the Yankees.
Let me ask for Preston, because I know he's just for Preston. He's a dumbass Yankees fan too, but he wants to know what was it like playing for the Yankees. I think he's got Yankees underwear, Red Sox
He
toilet
does.
paper.
Tattoo.
Yeah, he's got a Yankees. He's got a big tattoo of Derek Jeter on his back, with like Babe Ruth holding him up.
The good thing,
So-
one thing I
so-
want to know is, I always ask him, is because Preston told me, he's like, oh, dude, if you have them on, dude, you got to ask, how big's Judge, like in real life? Like,
So you see his what it says on his baseball card, or what
Yeah.
it's listed as, like 6'7", like
Yeah.
275 or something.
Yeah.
He is every bit of like 6'9", 6'10", like
Small,
like me.
close
small
to
potatoes.
close to 300 pounds, and like
Oh, God.
like he is very, very athletic. I mean, he is put together. He's not loose.
He should have been inside in.
He ain't no- yeah.
He could have gone in the first round in every single sport, and he chose the hardest one.
That's right,
Golly.
baseball. So playing with the Yankees is pretty cool, because that's where you went, right? After the St.
Right
Louis,
after that, so
and you had to
Yeah.
shave all your facial hair. He used to have a mean Jesus beard. Now
I mean, I
look
had
at
to,
him.
I had to trim up the hair. I had to
Did you have to trim up the hair, too?
Just
Oh, yeah.
a little bit. You can't touch
Yeah.
the collar.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Tell us more of these. No one of the Yankees.
What about Dallas? What about Dallas
My
Cowboys,
dad
bro?
played for the Yankees for 3 years, and he said there's nothing like it.
Mustache.
Really?
Oh yeah, you wear a mustache. You have a mustache.
I mean, we could.
So hair can't touch it. What are the rules? They're like, you got to shave your armpit hair. You can't be good in the playoffs anymore because we haven't won a World Series. We want to keep that going.
So what was it like playing for them?
It was good. It's very similar to the Cardinals, the way they talk about like their culture, like the way they want to win.
Right.
Like
It's a
that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
It's like it's what you want your club to be like. Like
Yeah.
everybody's like working towards to winning the game.
Yeah.
Like everybody is working towards the same thing.
Right.
I
Yes,
mean,
Matt.
when you look how people show up in a Yankees minor
Yeah.
league system when they show up to the field and they have their bags, they
It's
do
different.
everything like that.
It's-
And when you go with the A's, and I mean, you play for the A's. I mean, like it's show up, like wear white shoes on the field and be on time. Like I showed up, I'm in my dress slacks, or I think I had really nice jeans on that day for the plane
Yeah.
ride, tucked in shirt, coat and tie, or just no tie, just coat, and then nice dress shoes. And I mean, I see
Flip flops.
flip flops and jean shorts. I'm going like,
jeez.
what?
Wow.
Like, what is
culture.
this? And people just made fun of me. I'm going like, they're like, welcome to Oakland, bro. I was like, I'm used to bus rides. I mean, like,
Yeah.
because of the White Sox, when we flew, we had to wear,
Certain things.
Rockies, we had to wear.
Yeah, I like
coat.
that. I
And
think
that's
I
like-
think
It
that's
looks
pretty
somewhat
cool, yeah.
professional, but I mean,
Yeah.
I just remember RJ Alvarez and shows up and he has long hair and he has these white glasses on with a Tommy Bahama like Hawaiian shirt and jean
Hell
shorts
yeah.
and flip flops. I'm going like, what in the world, man?
And that is
He's
one
like, they
thing
don't
about
care,
the-
bro. You throw strikes and get people out, they'll bring you to the show. I was like, okay.
Well, that's one thing about that I got to give the Cardinals, the Yankees. I know there's probably just a couple others that they have like a culture where it's like that's the team, the fans,
That's standard,
whichever
man.
way. Yeah,
It's a
there's
big
a
time
standard.
standard.
It is.
And I'm trying to think of. I think there's a couple more. Like
Braves.
it's definitely like So I mean, I know there's not too many that are like pretty strict on it. You guys know more than me,
Yeah.
but as a fan looking in, there's a couple that you're
Very
like these
very
guys
traditional in the way they do things.
Yeah.
And like they're
Giants are probably there. Giants were probably there back in the day. Dodgers might be a little different. They're a little different.
are. The Dodgers, yeah.
Well,
Red-
then so the
Red
Yankees. So you
Sox,
played for the Yankees, and then so at this point, how old are you when you're playing the Yankees? Roughly. I mean, like
So what were you,
I'm
28?
not, I'm
You were
not an athlete,
28?
remember? So
that's
think
true.
you're
2017,
Should I ask Ethan?
Let me do the quick.
2016 and 2017, I was with the Yankees.
Okay.
We're probably 26,
So-
27, 28. Right?
Yeah,
So
later,
you-
later,
so are
later
you-
20s.
So at this point, are you going? Okay, how long are they gonna let me play? Because we seen you train after that. I mean, you're training just like you're playing for them. The Mays. When we're hitting, Parker and I are hitting balls and stuff. I mean, like it's. At what point do you say, all right, listen, I'm getting close, or because I know you don't want to be done right now. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that in a second, just briefly. But so you go from Yankees to where?
So Cardinals for 8, Yankees for 2, and then so that second year I was with the Yankees, I broke with them. I was in the big leagues. That first year I wasn't at all. We won the AAA championship, so we won the whole thing for
Yeah.
AAA. No big deal. And then the next year I broke.
BFD.
I broke with the Yankees.
Nothing big.
I broke with the Yankees, so I get to start the year with the big league club, which was a big surprise. It was very cool. Very, very different, too, because I never got to play in Yankee Stadium, though, so that was the first time. And on top of that, it was opening day, and I got to start shortstop,
Wow.
which
That-
was sick. Which
I got
was
the
sick,
chills, bro.
Which was
Especially when they
sick.
start
I
chanting.
don't-
They start chanting.
I don't even like it.
Yeah.
I don't even like
I didn't
the
get
Yankees.
chills, but it was pretty cool.
And so I'll tell you a Red Sox story after I get done. So it was the Yankees with 2.
They
so-
suck.
And
I
then,
love Ortiz. Shout out Big Papa. bro.
So I broke with the Yankees in 17, and then after a month, I filled in for DD. DD got healthy, and then I got picked up by the Rangers. So I was with the Rangers for about 4 or 5 months, and then the Rangers ended up. That was the first time.
Tejas.
That was the first time I got.
Tejas.
That was the first time I got released, which was
Ooh,
an
so
absolute which
Yeah,
is like
what was
which
that
is
like?
a little bit worse than
Yeah.
just being a free agent after the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And so I was done. I didn't play all September, like So I was like done pretty early. It's the worst time to get released. It's like right before the end of the season because nobody's going to pick you up. Everyone's going up in September for the playoffs or whatever. And then that following year, I didn't hear anything. Like nothing, no chatter, no nothing. I heard, and then I saw a couple of my old, minor league coaches like just running around here, and he's like, "I'll make a couple phone calls." And then the next week, I got a phone call from the Tigers, and they called me big league invite, go to do this, go to that. And I kind of thinking like my thing is over at this point. This was in 2018.
Dang.
Yeah. I was like, all that stuff happened like pretty quick.
Yeah,
I was like, shit, I was in the big leagues with the Yankees, made opening day roster with the Rangers for almost a whole year to get released, and like, shit, I go from the big leagues, playing in the big leagues to not even playing at all. Like, it was like pretty roller coaster. And I got picked up by the Tigers, played with them for 2 years, 2 good years.
Was Leland still around whenever you were?
So I think that was his first year he wasn't there.
Okay.
Which I wish I would have played for him.
Jim Lee.
He was very, very similar to LaRussa, which was the first manager I got to play under in the big leagues.
Right.
So I was with the Tigers for 2 years. I made it up in the big leagues a couple times. And then, who was I with? I was with the Braves, so it was the COVID year in 2020. And
what year? Did they win it that year?
I was the next year.
They won
the next year. Almost got 2.
Almost got 2.
I'll say you got 1.
And then in 2021, I was with Oakland.
Oh, okay.
That's where you guys came up with something.
Yes.
In good old Las Vegas.
Man, I'd say that was a cool stadium. Dude,
It still is.
It still is. Hasn't changed the list.
That's cool. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, and one thing that I want to know too about both of you, just knowing it is, what would you have done differently, or would you? You know what I mean? Not even just like maybe the process to get to the big leagues, or
wish I went to JUCO for 1 year because I would have got a way bigger signing bonus.
JUCO.
And that's what a lot of people say. You know what I'm saying? College. But I really want to do just because. And I know a little bit of your story, but I don't know it all. But I mean, that's you hear guys saying, "Man, I wish I'd have been bigger." Like not saying like taller, but worked out a little bit more, or more on my hitting, or work more.
I don't really know, man. I found out later on, so like 2007, I get absolutely shelled. Have a young pitching coach, never been a pitching coach. He's international guy. Come out to find out that he's calling my pitches during the game to a 18-year-old rookie catcher, and I always pitched better when I had an American catcher, but it was because he never got the signs because he knew how to call a game because he was 20 years old.
Yeah, it's crazy that's like that.
I didn't. No one knew. No one knew, and I find out, and so when I go to extended, or I go to Instructs, I had Ryan. I think it was Coach Harvey. He was a AA pitching coach. He was just like, "Hey, what happened?" So and I was like, "Oh, it's just bad year." Well, they took away my slider. They took away
your best pitch.
My best pitch. They took away my best off-speed pitch.
Listen, it's nasty now.
Prove it. Let's go to the backyard.
I'm down.
Roll on the floodlights.
Or maybe 2 years. I mean,
It would have hurt any worse.
Listen, he told me one time, he's like, "Oh, go catch one of my sliders." I was like, "Oh, hell no." So I go back there, and it's filthy, dude.
Yeah,
and then,
it was
nasty.
it was a good one. I wish but I mean, they ended up, it didn't work out. So that's when I basically said, "Screw it, I'm just gonna do it on my own."
Yeah.
And then, I got into lifting and trying to get bigger. Well, my body wasn't made for that.
Right.
I'm the heaviest I've ever been at 191. And I mean, if I was 191 and working out with the way because every time, if I started to work out now, it would just shed to 170, in a heartbeat. I could never play above 170. I think the heaviest weight I've actually played at is 177.
Really?
After that, it has been, it honestly has been where I can't gain weight. So, but the heaviest I've been, I started throwing the hardest.
Oh, really?
And I ended up blowing out my elbow, but that was because of poor delivery.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't have any regrets because it puts trials and things in your life that you have to work through and you're better for it. But at the same time, I do wish I went to an organization that had high school guys and knew how to develop them and really took that time because there's a lot of good people in the Rockies organization that weren't allowed to express their knowledge because of how they ran things.
Yeah.
And so I would have loved to have been with a different organization that really allowed you to develop and do stuff differently.
Yeah.
And now in today's world, I might not even get drafted. You know, I mean, but it's one of those things that, you know, it's
I know shit. I probably
Yeah,
wouldn't get
I mean,
drafted right now.
it's crazy, but I mean,
Both would.
You look at it, I mean, that's why I love golf. It's because it's you and only you. Like,
Yeah.
no one else affects it. So, like, you're depending on those guys behind you. Like, I got made fun of because I felt like I was the ultimate team guy. But, I mean, like, I got made fun of in kangaroo court, which, if you don't know a kangaroo, we can talk about that.
We can dive into kangaroo.
But I got made fun of all the time and got fined because after every great play, I waited till the fielder and I like point or wait till he's ready or do something like that. Like, hell yeah, dude. Like, let's rod. Thanks, dude. Like, I can't do it without you, buddy.
Yeah.
Like,
What's
every
kangaroo
day.
I'm curious, what is it?
So every Sunday, like, there's a box and you just put in, and someone usually dresses up as a judge and goes like, "Hear, we're court's in session." So they run with like, first fine is
Oh, really?
Peter Kozma putting jelly on his ham sandwich. Like, you just like dumb things like that.
So
Yeah.
throughout the week, there's literally just a shoebox.
Yeah.
And there's a little slit.
just
It's like a
write
piggy
it
bank.
down.
And if you do something stupid,
Yeah.
like whether it's on the field, off the field,
Yeah.
like.
It has to be at the. Our rule was it had to be at the stadium.
Okay.
So it had to be
And
at the
so
stadium.
if you just write down a piece of paper, drop it in the box, and at the end of the week, you get read off, and everybody gets to kind of vote on it, and they're just like, if everybody agrees, you get fined like 50 cents or $1. It's fun. It's fun.
Pimping a home
It's
run,
like-
but it got caught at the winning drive. What a dipshit.
Yeah,
$2.
exactly. Well, it's like stuff like one of our guys goes, "I'm about to go home and crush 11 pack," and we're like, "11 pack?" He goes, "Well, I've already had one of them. There's only 11 left." I mean, like, bro, like, come on, man.
That's 11
Like, I
pack.
mean, just things like that. But from
Yeah.
where he was from in Georgia and the way he said it, like, we had to write deep Southern accent from the hood. And so,
it.
What was yours?
Yeah.
like, just
What was
funny.
yours like? I mean, is there
If
something?
you could do something.
something different, like
Not play for the Yankees.
I still have that Yankee story. I'm gonna tell that.
Yeah, you got to. Right?
But definitely, I feel like
Say
I
not
was.
playing for the Yankees.
I feel like Parker could probably attest to this. Is that I was so critical of what I was doing, like just
Yeah.
in everyday work, like just like being like kind of like over like perfectionist, like super
still that way.
perfectionist. Like
Still that way.
I am,
Bro,
I am,
I didn't
but
have
I'm
to-
like not as critical, especially
yeah.
in practice. Like,
Yeah.
all right, if I miss one, it's okay. Like I can
Yeah.
miss one,
So
and
let me tell
it's
you
all
this.
right.
Not being
I didn't
so
have
hard
to
on
do
yourself.
abs. When did we start working out? 08 and 09?
I can't remember.
So let's
Not
just
nice
say 08, 09. We'll just figure it out. But there's a bucket of balls. Well, that bucket holds 300 baseballs. I didn't have to do abs until like 2017 when he said, "Oh, let me take less ground balls because this fool will take the entire bucket by himself.
100%.
There would be no one else.
100%.
Like everyone else was like, "Okay, I'm good," and he's just like, "Oh," and he keeps going. And then like 15
Yeah.
minutes later, he goes, "Hey, let's do double plays now."
So yeah, go ahead.
But not just like
That's
that
why
was
nobody
that
cares.
was
Yeah.
that was
Nobody
that was
cares.
that was practice.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
practice was a little different. I was like super critical, especially on the hitting side. Like the defensive side, just like it all speaks for itself. But like the hitting, and like that's what kind of showed up the most, and that's what like kind of like grinded my gears, like coming through the system, and like
Yeah.
like hitting it's the hardest thing to do, and it's like
yeah.
you're hitting a round ball with a round bat, and you try to square it
Yeah.
up. Doesn't make sense.
Try to square
it
it
doesn't make sense.
God, we
So-
need that saying board up there.
I know.
You hit
Oh,
the
yeah.
round ball, round bat, and you
We'll
gotta
put it up
square it up.
But like
Makes
I was
sense.
so critical every at bat. Like
Yeah.
man, I missed that pitch. I fouled it off and ended up striking out, or I popped a pitch up that I shouldn't have popped up, or got out when I shouldn't have got out. And I was like, try to control the things you can control. And the hardest thing in baseball to do is dealing with the failures. And you're going to fail. You're going to fail.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Doesn't matter how much.
I think it was 2011 when I finally said, "F it!" Like I can only do what I can do instead of trying to live. Like I mean, I had Chad Bettis. He threw 100 miles an hour. Like he was going to get to the big leagues whether I did really well or not.
Yeah.
Like he was going to get there. And so, yeah. So, but it's like this. I mean, my manager brought us in for San Jose's Giants. We're sitting here, and he brings us in, and he prepares this huge, like pregame, like how are we going to attack each hitter. we're going to go over Chad's last night's dominating performance for 7 innings and 10 Ks and all this stuff. And we go through and like, yeah, Chad, he's like, yeah, I really pounded him inside the entire time I went there and went back foot slider.
Yeah.
And, after the third hitter, it was kind of like the same thing. And I just like looked at him and they're like, Parker, do you not care about this? I said, honestly, I don't, because his slider is as hard as my fastball. My 93-mile-an-hour fastball is as hard as his slider. It's not the same. I go, I'm sorry, I can't throw this guy inside.
I can't do that.
I go, I said,
He's a different guy.
Yeah.
And so, and I got to the point to where I'm just going to pitch to my strengths. I'm going to let the guy who's behind the dish call the game. Like, I rarely shook. Like, I trusted my guy. I had the belief after when I was 22 years old that you could throw a fastball 100 pitches and you could go win a ball game. And so it's about execution. And it's funny, like my assistant general manager there, we're playing, Chad Bettis just struck out 17 guys and gave up 2 runs, got the loss, but struck out like 14 in a row. Like, set a record.
Is that good?
Did something crazy. And I'm sitting here, and he's just bragging about it, going through this whole thing. Yeah. And I remember Bo Seabury goes, he's sitting there, like kind of over here, and manager, Bo Seabury, myself, and I'm sitting here, and he goes, and Bo just goes, hey man, you just want to do what we always do. It was to start with the sinker, and he goes, if we get 0-2 quickly, we can bring out the slider early. If not, we'll go fastball, changeup. Second time around, if we need to, we'll spin the breaking ball early, and we'll see it, and then we'll finish the slider. He goes, if it gets a little hairy, we'll bring the slider out early in the counts, and let's go. And I said, sounds good, man. Let's rock and roll. And I roll out, and the GM goes like, that's it? I go, yeah, that's it. Like, there's not much to it. Like, that's my strength. And he just goes, all right, man. Like, who's this? 8 innings, 2 hits, no runs. I said, there you go, bud. Like, and so it's against guys who are really good. And it's one of those things that, once you get to double A, man, the prospects there are unreal. And then once you get to AAA, it's just guys who understand what it takes, who's been in the big leagues, what it takes to the big leagues. And
That's what it used to be like.
Yeah, now it's so
different.
age-based and young, like get the guys in and out.
So many young. Well, it's kind of cool. I know it's like crazy, but that Jackson Holiday.
That dude's so good, it's ridiculous.
Well, I'm just looking. What is he? How old is he?
He's 19. His second year in, man. Third year in. He's not 20.
I also want to know, and you talk about different things too, is I want to know how it felt when you hit the ball down the line to score against Washington. Was it Washington?
Yeah.
I think I sent you that on Instagram like 3 weeks ago. I was like, hey, look what I came across.
It's funny because I'll get stuff that, we're talking about a podcast and we're getting like different pictures and stuff. And then I was on my phone, and I got all the people that hate Pete, and then I got that when he hits it down the line. Yeah. And they're talking about, and I was like, I was getting all freaking pumped up, and I was like, I want to ask him what it felt like. What was that feeling like?
Dude, that's probably my moment.
What's the lay of the land? It was preseason spring training. It was bottom of the top. It didn't matter. The game was pretty useless at that point, right? You were just trying to get back up to the show.
We're playing the Red Sox, so it doesn't matter.
This one underhanded.
You're playing slow pitch softball over at
Go ahead.
Lay out the scenario.
So I'm on deck. We're down by 2. We started the inning down by 4.
Yeah. Is it a regular season game?
3 or 4.
This is Game 5 of the NLDS.
For our listeners, the NLDS only goes 5 games.
And it is the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And so this is like my first taste of like the Major League playoffs. Major League playoffs. Well, it started out with our 1-game playoff the first year they did it against the Braves.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and that was the infield fly roll.
Yeah.
He's still out, by the way.
Yeah,
I think he's out.
I think he's out too.
He's still out.
Everybody, and that was one of the things that popped up. That guy is still mad about that info. I'm like, dude, he's out.
It doesn't matter. They made 3 errors. They didn't score enough runs.
Yeah, sure. It doesn't matter.
So this is Game 5 NLDS. They score in the bottom of the 8th. They score another one in the top and bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, because it was in Washington.
This is the top of the 9th.
Yeah, that was.
This is the top of the 9th. So we're down. I want to say we're down by 4.
I want to say you were too.
Shit, I could look it up.
I think we're down by 4, right?
Well, look up that clip. It's on the Google.
It's on the Google.
2012,
Yeah.
whatever.
Go here.
So, is it 2012? NLDS Game 5.
I think you're right because we're down. You guys were you guys were down 4,
Down by 4,
and then-
going into the top of the
Wasn't
ninth.
there like a walk and somebody hit?
There was a lot of stuff that happened
yeah,
that
it was.
inning.
It was
So
crazy.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
you guys were.
And he
you
said,
guys-
"Suck it."
so
guys were down-
start
yes.
the inning down by 4.
Yeah, down by 4.
So I think Beltran leads off with a double.
He's not very
Gets over to third base with 1 out. We score 1 with 1 out. We start getting guys on, and somebody else. I think Alan Craig strikes out with 2 outs
Yeah.
with a
We
runner.
had 2 outs, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
we
it's
had 2 outs. We're down by 3 runs at this point.
Yes.
And so we get the bases loaded. Yachty walks, Freeze walks. Descalzo comes up with the bases loaded.
Descalzo.
The very first, their closer's in. Descalzo comes up, the very first pitch, he hits a line drive right up the middle, right off the shortstop's glove.
Okay.
Trickles into center field, 2 runs score. So Descalzo's on first, go ahead runs on second. And then I come up, there's 2 outs, first and third. And then I'm thinking, like, they're going to walk me because this is whenever the
Yeah.
pitcher hit.
Yeah.
So Mott's in the game.
Oh.
He's behind me. He's on deck.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, I was like, they're going to walk me.
Oh, yeah.
They have the
Yeah.
pitcher hitting behind me.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we had a tie ball game. Like, he has to hit because we don't have anybody else in the
Yeah.
bullpen because Wainwright went 2 or 3 innings.
Yeah.
And, like, he came out of the game early because he gave up 6 runs in, like, 2 or 3 innings. And so I'm like, they're going to walk. They're going to walk me.
Yeah.
They're going to walk
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Boom, strike 1. Boom, strike 2. I'm like, what's going on here?
Was your old butthole puckered up? Just question.
I was so
You down
relaxed because I
0-2?
was just like, they're gonna walk me.
Yeah.
They're going to
Hey,
walk me.
Listen, I was puckered. My butthole was puckered.
And you were
up.
down 0-2?
I was down 0-2
And then it
or
was
1-2, and then
Yeah.
Descalzo steals second, so I'm working
Yeah.
the count. I think I foul ball off,
Yeah.
work another ball, 2-2,
2-2. Yeah.
and then I might have fouled another one off, and I'm just like, before I know it, I was like, oh shit, Descalzo's on second base. So I was like, oh
Second, third,
shit. I was like, they're definitely gonna walk me now. They're not gonna throw me anything close, and like.
Yeah.
He's still like digging in. I foul pitch off, work it to 2-2, and then I'm just like, he's not gonna fucking walk me.
Yeah.
There's no way he's gonna fucking walk
Yeah.
me. And then
Yeah.
I get in there, I poke it out to right field, and we score 2
Score
more
2
runs, and I'm
runs.
sitting at first base. My whole body's like vibrating.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know like what to do at first base. Like the entire dugout's going fucking
Oh,
nuts.
it
They're
was-
erupting.
Yeah.
They're going in fucking,
Everybody
they're going
here
crazy.
was-
And then
You're like, what?
and
Like,
then if you
oh,
watch
dude.
that video, Tony Cruz is our backup catcher, and you see Descalzo across the plate. You see Cruz like pointing to the dugout. I was like, oh shit, Mont, you're up to bat now because you're not coming out
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
game. You're not coming out of the game
Oh yeah. That's
because
true,
they
yeah.
switched like during the
yeah.
at bat, and I was
Oh,
like, oh
yeah.
shit, like I didn't fucking know that. I was like, they gotta for sure
Oh,
throw me.
yeah.
Like gotta walk me. You have to walk
Yeah,
me.
you have to.
And dude, it was funny because we were all together, like me and Kyle. I mean, it was an awesome experience. But you could tell when you're on first base, your eyes are big. You're like, what the hell do I do with my hands? Do I give him my batting gloves? What do I do? You know what I mean? It was such a cool feeling.
don't get picked off now.
Well,
I wasn't even thinking about that. I wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah, well, there's what, like 30? I mean, I know that you're in enemy territory playing in D.C., but there's what, 38,000
yeah,
fans? And, like, it's so crazy to look back at, like, you guys playing in high school ball, and then you're in the Dominican with, like, 38,000
Oh, yeah.
fans. Or you're in the
That's not even half of it.
NLDS with all these, and you're in, like, a cathedral.
If I can find it, I'll show you.
And
Funny
and
videos.
you go from playing ball in Owasso, and, you know, there's maybe 30 to 50 people at the game, maybe some.
A little
Maybe,
more than that.
Really, at Owasso?
Yeah.
They just never shut up Booker T played. You laughed a little too hard at that one over there. Oh, Slider P.
Hey, Coach P's the best, bro.
Hey, Coach P is great.
We
But that's-
played in a couple state championships, so there's a couple thousand
Yeah,
people
state
there.
champions, you know.
I know Booker T
I was
never
been
done
up
that.
in there, you know, regional finals, you know. There's a couple thousand in there. My hands were shaking too when I got that walk. But it's just crazy because,
Oh, man,
I
that's
mean,
so
a lot of people like me have been to Major League Baseball stadiums, and I've been in the World Series. I was there in 2013, Game 4. But,
Me too.
Yeah, you were down there. Yeah, I
was there.
You very different circumstances. You're playing in the World Series. I almost bought this kid's dad because we got standing room only tickets. You know, I'm in college and we were like, me and my buddy Matt, who I think you've met, Matt Jones. He's a Cardinals fan, and you know we're in the championship series, and I'm in Maryland at my sister's house, and I'm texting him because we made a deal. If both our teams get the World Series, no matter what, we pull some money together, you know, broke college kids, and we'll buy the cheapest ticket we can get to the World Series, and we're going.
Yeah.
And so I'm on the phone with him right before we get the last out in the ALCS, and I'm already looking at tickets, and we buy these standing room only tickets, and we get in the World Series, and we get in like kind of not right when the gates open, but we were like, hey, let's head there because we got to find a spot. Poked around a couple spots, weren't good, so we go up to like the second or third deck, you know, on the third base side. And this, like, kid is, like, standing in this space that's probably, like, the length of this table, standing room only spot, and maybe a little shorter. It might have been like this. And he's, like, standing there by himself. So I'm like, hey, there's a spot for two of us. And he's kind of on my side, and I stand next to this kid. And this guy comes out of the bathroom, and he's like, damn it, Jimmy. I fucking told you I shouldn't have left to go to the bathroom because now I come back and these assholes are standing here. And I'm like, look, man, it's standing room only. He goes, well, you guys need to leave because we were here first. I was like, well, he was here, and he's also like 3 feet tall. So you could stand right behind him and have a great view, and we can stand here and share the spot. He goes, you need to fucking leave. And we're like, what if we don't leave? Like, you want to get your ass beat in front of your kid? Like, you're not in fighting shape. And I was a young college stud, you know, and he was like, fucking bullshit. So the whole game we're just fucking standing there.
It is exciting that he's going to be a father.
He's going to be right. He's just going to know what standing room only is. But shit, yeah. Then
Standing room only, but his dad's laying on the ground.
Yeah. That was Dad, get up, you're going to miss it. Poppy's in the softball. What happened? You hold my beer like I said?
We were there for the World Series. Was it that year that we went to me, Kyle, and Matt, and all the fans? Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that was crazy.
That was crazy.
That was
that game was awesome. But that was a crazy World Series in general. I mean, the freaking third base, the interference,
Yeah.
and then the pickoff. I mean, that was just crazy. But but I mean, it's just crazy. You guys playing in those atmospheres that I mean, every kid dreamed of, and I'm sure you guys did too. But that. Just the multi-deck fans, and then like getting a hit like that, and like going through innings, and like you're just like looking around like holy shit, look at this place.
Have you played on a big league field?
Playing with a dog right now.
Yeah. Have you
He's poking his head around the corner. I'm like, hey.
Have you played on a big league field?
Yeah, I mean, I played Arizona. I got to go there.
So
there's a real thing when people call it the third deck syndrome. Like you don't realize it. Everything's the same, and you look up and you're like.
So I got to the first time I got to play in like a big league stadium. I think it was my junior year. I was going into my senior year in the summer. I got to play a showcase at the old ballpark in Arlington, and like this ballpark, like they say like cathedrals. It is a legit cathedral. Yeah. It takes up an entire square block, and it is hundreds of feet tall. And I'm sitting up there at shortstop. And there's nobody in the stands. It's 100-something degrees in the middle of the summer, July, August, whatever.
Geez.
And I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, I am tiny. I am so small, and it's like it's a very, very daunting feeling. The first time you set foot on a field like that, it's like going from a stadium that holds a couple thousand to a couple 20, 30,
40,000.
My first showcase was going down. We had to go to Memphis. I had to go to Memphis for the Cardinal showcase for the pre-draft workout, and I'm sitting here going like this, and I get out there and it didn't look that big, and until I got on the mound, I'm going like,
this is a big
stadium.
It's a big AAA stadium.
Yeah.
It could hold what?
15, probably
15.
10, 15. Indianapolis is probably one of my favorites. Like they will pack out 10 to 12,000 people every weekend, and it's amazing. It's a big league city with a minor league ballpark. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Same thing with Charlotte, but Charlotte Stadium's not that big.
It's too small.
But Indy's Stadium and all that stuff.
What are your shows?
Oh no, he's still talking about the Dominican.
Well, just like give you a premise. Yeah, he got to go to the Dominican and like pitch in their World Series, like just the Dominican World Series. Like, and then they won.
Yeah.
And so now
Nice,
they
you
get to
ring
go.
for that?
Now they get to go
He got
to
it.
the.
Took me forever to get that one.
Now they get to go to the Caribbean
Yeah.
World Series, and they get to play against
Oh.
Puerto Rico, Mexico, Venezuela,
And
and
so
he got to pitch. He got to
And
pitch
so they
in one
get
of
to
those.
take 80% of your roster, and so they asked me to go down there and pitch. But
What was
when
your
when we,
nickname?
huh?
Was it La Blanca Flame?
That's the block of
No,
fire. You're out.
No, it's Flacco Loco.
Flacco
Crazy skinny guy.
Yeah, Flacco Loco, baby.
Look, we won, and that's the fans just bum rushing us.
man.
It was actually scary. They told us they're like, we had 2 outs, we were up by 4, and they were just like, take off your chains. It's like, I don't need chains. Like, so I just wore my hat and
They're gonna
everything.
steal all your shit.
Oh, dude.
Oh shit.
10 seconds, my hat's gone. Some fan took it and snagged it. And it wasn't even great. The thing is, but it's like, if you listen,
Dang,
like this is
that's
what
crazy.
it sounds like during an inning. During an inning, this is what it sounds like. Like just
Jeez.
bells going
Soccer.
everywhere.
So what was it like playing in Australia?
So Australia is a
You
little
played for the
different
old
than.
Perth Heat, right? Righto, get down there at shortstop, take some didgeridoos, fucking toss them across the bags. Fucking, is that what they say? Is that some lingo?
That's exactly what they said.
That's exactly everything.
Off over there like a little kangaroo. Fucking,
Yeah, it was a little different down there because baseball is not a big sport down there.
Really?
At all. Like they got
Was it cricket and soccer? Or cricket and rugby?
Cricket,
rugby.
cricket is very
Rugby.
big.
Yeah.
Cricket will sell out probably like 50, 60,000
Yeah.
60,000 people. And
I
those
didn't know they
those
had a big
games,
Stadium there.
the cricket, they call them test matches. They last over a whole week,
That,
which is insane.
That's crazy.
And then rugby's a huge sport. Australian rules football, I think, is king, just like our football here
Yeah.
is like it's king. They have a little bit of basketball, it's all right. And then they have a lot of beach sports, like beach running, and like it's
Dang,
it's
that's
wild.
crazy.
They got just very, very different sports, but it's baseball is definitely not one of them, but it was one of the best experiences that I've ever done.
I remember you saying
And I
that.
went not this last winter, but the winter before, and it is probably. I mean, I want to go back again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is very, very awesome.
I was gonna try to see him over there because we went and saw him. Kinsey, we went and saw him a couple times when he was playing. Go to the old Dave and Buster's, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to Australia." I was like, "Hell yeah, man! I'd love to go to Australia. You know, I'll come see you." And then he was like, "Yeah, check the flights." It was like 4,500 round trip. I was like, "I'll see your ass when you get back." We ain't coming. That's awesome that you guys played at
Oh man.
so
that's
many
cool.
different countries and like around the world, and that's like an experience that baseball brought on. And
Well, you know what's crazy is it's like you talk about that, like in the Dominican, I go back the next year.
yeah,
And I got 4 big league pitchers in our staff, and they're like, "Frazier, you got opening day." I was like,
Hell
"Hell,
yeah.
I don't." I go, "This guy threw a no-hitter in the big leagues. I am not the headliner here." And they go, "What are you talking about?" And I was like,
You're the king of the Dominican
well,
here.
dude, we were tied 2-2. I didn't realize it because it was just me just going out there trying to win. But I mean, dude, we were tied 2-2 in the World Series, and I won Game 5, and then just like all hell, like everybody
That's
remembers
impressive.
that, and they think it's like. And I didn't realize that until I was with Arizona. I go to AA, and our pitching coach is the AA pitching coach, and they're like, his name's Wellington Cepeda, but everyone calls him Beef. And yeah, and so
Beef
so
Wellington.
Beef,
I love that.
so Beef.
I want to be called that.
I love baseball nicknames.
So
Beef.
yeah.
Everyone calls him Beef.
So everyone's like, Frazier, why is he so nice to you? I was like, I don't know. I mean, I just use my pitching coach in the Dominican. Like, that's all I know, man. I mean, just maybe I'm older than you guys. I don't know. Like, I'm an old fart at this time, you know. And Wellington goes, he goes, no, dude, he won Game 5 of the World Series. He got us all paid an extra like 10 grand. I was like, boom. So I was like, let's go. So I was like
Block
oh,
of flame.
makes sense. Yeah.
Can you put that on the board?
I know we need to get the LeBlanc and play the King Powers.
And what's even
Jersey up here.
what's cool too is, like both of them. I mean, they can play multiple sports. I mean, what you played basketball?
I mean,
like-
I liked football, but I was just too small when I was coming as a freshman.
Yeah.
And then, but I played basketball. I could have gone and played college basketball, and then golf. I almost gave it all up my sophomore year to go to Hilton Head, South Carolina to one of the academies out there to strictly play golf because I was,
That's cool.
a scratch 1 handicap, 2 handicap in high school, and I knew what it took to really be there. And I mean, it was one of those things that I really enjoy golf and do that stuff. And
I almost gave it all up yesterday.
Well,
Came in at 101.
Hey,
You
we're
know.
not talking about golf. He just smoked us today. We ain't talking about that. Anyway. So
Yeah,
what? Wait, we ain't gonna talk about it. So let's talk about it.
Peter's good at golf.
Yeah, he's
all right.
good. But anyways, so when you're in high school, did you play basketball, play football? Was it
A little bit of basketball.
a little basketball?
Yeah.
You can't hoop. Let's go.
You want to play?
I would say that some of the best runs were when we were in Pro Bowl for the
At
first
Bishop
5
Kelley.
years at Bishop Kelley.
Listen, I went there.
6'10", like, I mean, there's some boys.
I thought it was I was like, man, we're gonna have some fun. I can see my boys. I can see all the O'Briens. I can see Parker. Dude,
DK
this
was
is
there, Kyle
it's
was there.
all pro like
Playing
ball players.
full court.
Full
He's-
court.
Dude, there's 20 dudes.
You ever seen the Little
14s.
Giants?
I'm like this. Hey, fuck the ball. Throw him out.
Yeah.
Dunk it.
He's
No,
no hands or shit hand on it. It's like, no, guys, give the
Get
ball.
him posted up.
Yeah,
Get him
I
in the
can make
paint.
a reverse
Throw a
layup like a
pick.
motherfucker, boy.
Get me in a game of horse. You know.
But it was incredible. Like, we had college players coming back from break.
Dude,
we had ex-pro
Student
players,
in the
ex-D1
gym.
players that were just still trying to get
Yeah.
on circuits in Europe. Like, it was,
Dude, it was. I mean, they were running 4-2, and I was like, I'm gonna never come back.
It was a little much.
Sounds
Yeah,
like
it
our
we didn't know any better. We were ready to go. I mean, it got serious though, like, because it got to a point where like 15 to 17 guys would show up, and you shoot to be on a team, first
Yeah.
5, then next 5, and go, and
Yeah.
then you split up and keep going and do whatever you got to do. And winter stays. I mean, it got heated when team went 2-0 real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just got like, oh,
It was.
Reminds me of the heated game we had at the river last summer. Just playing against the old frat guys coming back to the plate against the young frat boys. Beat their ass, man. We were barefoot. My feet looked like Hobbit's feet. They were so swollen for like 2 weeks. But we won. That's all that matters. And then we
taking the
could.
dubs, taking the
Yeah,
dubs.
It got physical.
swollen up.
No 3-point line. No fouls. No fouls, baby. It's old school, boy. The Pistons in here.
1 point.
That's
Let's
right.
go.
That's
Well,
awesome.
what's your Yankee story? Let's get that out of the
Let's
way
get it.
so I can edit it out.
It's a good Yankee
Hey, our
story.
producer's, she's the one that.
It's a really good Yankee story. So
Oh, there's
I didn't get to play in this game. I wish I would have. So it was whenever you guys got Chris Sale. It was the first.
no one full year wonder.
So and like obviously,
Dude, the breaks.
Now he's going to dominate with the Braves.
Yeah.
He's going to be healthy the rest of his career, win 2 Cy Youngs.
yeah. So like he was healthy that whole year,
Yeah.
and so he started that game. We were in Boston, and so just about between every single inning, you hear them chanting like Yankees suck. Yankees suck. Yankees suck.
It's my first words.
Every inning before the game even starts, they're just like, oh, you hear it over here, you hear it at the Monster, you hear it in right field, you hear it everywhere. They're just like chanting like constantly. And so, and Tanaka's pitching for us.
Yeah.
And so, and this is I think it's Sunday Night Baseball.
Too mediocre.
I think it's Sunday Night Baseball. So it's like literally
Full packed
nobody
house.
else is playing baseball
Yeah.
but us. Everybody's watching us. And so he Sale is just mowing us down. Absolutely mowing us down. He strikes out like the first 6 batters in a row. And
Vintage
just
Sale.
about I'm sitting in the corner, I can see everything. And you go into Fenway or whenever you come off the field, you go straight down into the dugout. So the roof of the dugout is kind of like you can see the fans
Yeah,
you can see their
their
belt
hips.
line. They're
Yeah.
sitting like this is the first row. This is the dugout. You can see their belts.
Yeah.
And everybody is standing up. So as he's walking into the dugout for the first however many innings, he's just striking out everybody. And he's just walking and he's got his head down and he does his walk that he does. And everybody is standing up just screaming at Sam. It's like, you're the fucking man, you're the best thing. Blah, blah, you guys are the fucking best. Everyone's just pumping him up. And I'm just watching this from our dugout and I was like, dude, this is pretty sick.
Yeah.
And so, and he's just they're both going back and forth. Tanaka's striking dudes out. Guys are just topping the ball
Vintage duel.
in front of the plate. Nothing is going on. everyone's just like, they're just getting sawed off. And then I think Sale comes out for the 7th, the top of the 7th. And Holiday's with us again. I played with him.
Oh, yeah.
Again.
Yeah,
He comes out and he's just like, dude, I cannot wait to hit off of him. I was just like, what? You just like, I know. You just struck out against him twice. Like, you just a third time in the 7th inning. Like,
What do you mean you can't wait
like
to
what are
hit
you
him?
talking about? And he's just like, dude, I got him now. I was like, all right. And so I think the first guy gets on a walk, and then Holiday comes up and hits like a fucking shit rocket off the left field. Hits it right off the monster. It's like second and third. There's nobody out, and like we ended up like getting to Sale, like. And
Third time around.
Tanaka throws like a complete game, like 90 something pitches, and we ended up beating him. But like
One
I will
time
never,
beat
I
us
will
that
never,
year.
I will never forget like just like the first half of that game. Like you guys were gonna destroy us.
Yeah.
Like just absolutely, that's just like that feeling that you get, and then just like you can kind of feel the tides like turning.
Yeah,
Guys
turning.
are having better at bats against Sale, and like
Yeah.
like he wasn't losing any steam. He wasn't throwing any
Right.
slower. The guys are just like
learning.
just kind of like I just kind of got to him, and I was like, I will never forget like that look of like the crowd is like on top of Sale, just like right like, all over him, and he's just like everyone's just like eating it up over there.
Yeah.
I wish my dad was alive to tell all the Yankee stories
Oh,
just to make your skin crawl.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
and that's
there ain't been too many good ones since '09.
That's another thing too. I know you guys probably got to get, but they, George, dude. That God rest his soul, but hey, that dude right there, I swear, he would come out. We'd be coaching Big E. We'd come out from home. I've known him for a long time, and I'd walk out. He'd park his truck out there in the outfield. Him and his wife, and we'd sit out there, and he would say some things. He'd be like, he's like, Mo, you know what? Hey, let's try this. And what's Parker doing? He like tried to, I was like, dude, he's got it, man. He's just working on him. And the next time, I swear he knew exactly what was going on, because he would call the next game before it even happened. Like, we get him, dude. We're gonna smoke them, dude. We're gonna smoke their ass. We're gonna run on them. And I remember like it was yesterday, dude. We're playing in the finals for the state championship, and he was like, "We ready?" Because that's what they would do. His mom would be like, "We ready?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I think we're ready." He's like, "Get ready, coach." And I was like, "All right." Cause I was kind of like the hype man, you know what I mean? And Parker was a serious.
Peter's not the hype man. I need Peter to get the hype man.
Peter's not the hype man.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
So anyways, I'd kind of like the hype man, get him riled up and stuff and get going. And man, I'll never forget George came up to me. He's like, dude, we're going to rumble. They won't have a chance. What was the final?
11-1.
11-1. You know what I mean? It's like,
Get drop kick, son.
And
Go back to 8 there, bro.
Oh, yeah. and that was so good. I mean, but, it's like the family deal, like what we talked about. And then, we'll kind of close with this. But, man, your family, dude, Bailey, stud, because it's funny seeing her at the games and dude now.
She's a baseball person now.
Dude,
she didn't know anything about baseball until she married me. Now she's a baseball fiend.
Well, you know what? To me,
She gonna be the hype woman.
She
was.
You could hear her.
My mom. I wanted to record my mom. We were in the state championship game, and we get a rain delay. And my mom went over there and talked to our guys. I was like, I wonder how many bad words were said in that conversation.
Yeah. But that was the thing, man. And I miss him too, man. He's such a legend, and I know you do. And man, you represent that whole family well. And knowing what you're doing now and how you're, to me I have guys. Anytime I ask them, man, the arm programs you put these pitchers, you're getting them ready for the next level. You know what I mean? And I don't think, you can only do as much as you can. But I mean, like, you know it. I mean, they're just as good as they could get. You know, and but man, your mom, Bailey, man, it's just a family deal, and they back you so much. And here you are. I mean, went to Hall and Hall, changed that whole dynamic. Coming back to Bishop Kelley, they've had a lot of good success too. But man, I'm hearing all this thing. Your first year coaching, take to the finals, wasn't it?
Yeah. And 2 returning starters. I felt they made me so proud for those kids to have that ending, and I still think that, like, it's baseball. They scored every run with 2 outs. Like, that's what a good team's supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's what our opponent. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, for sure.
They made all the big plays they needed to make, and they did everything like that. So they deserved that dub. But I think if we came out and we had things fall our way, it'd have been completely different.
Freaking
It's baseball, dude. And then, like you said, I mean, the biggest thing too is, but there's not very many, and I can say it too, dude. You're an amazing coach, and I'm so thankful. I'm being a friend with you, and coming on, but seeing dude, how you're doing and doing what you're doing. I mean, it took us a long time. You know, we had different coaches. And,
Oh yeah.
And man, I'm so proud of you. You know what I mean? I'm proud of your family, and man, it's cool. And then also with yours is I'm going to tell a quick story about his Trailblazer. So we'd always drop them off, and we'll kind of close this. We would always drop them off for hitting, right?
Yeah.
Like a 3 or whatever. So they always had security there, and he'd have a number in his dash. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, well, he's coming in early, and we're pulling up, and there's like a car deal where it kind of goes down, spirals down at the bottom, you know. And I remember I was just Matt Holliday, Jason Mott. This is whenever Mott had the knee deal or elbow. I can't remember what it was. But we're riding, leaving, and he goes, "Gosh damn it, Pete, get you a." He goes, "Dude, you're in the fucking big league. Sell that fucking piece of shit Trailblazer." So then we pull up, and I remember the first time we get there, we pull up, and like you said, dude, you got Yachty's, Rolls Royce, Del Scalzo's like Maserati or whatever it is. Then you got Matheny's jacked up big ass truck, and here comes a little Trailblazer. Well, that's why he's a tight ass. That's why he got all the money, dude. You know what I mean? So, but going to your family, you know, and that's, I love seeing him, and man, seeing Bob, and man, whenever you play, he'd be sitting with us, and we have no idea where he's at.
Yep.
And then he'd be way out, and we're like, "Dude, is that him in left field?" That's him. And I was like, "Dude, he's just nervous." Yeah. You know, was he always like that, or was he kind of?
He wanders at our games now.
He does.
Does he?
See?
Yeah.
Was he always like that?
So he did that in high school.
He did.
So whenever we were at Owasso, so can't tell anybody this. But so he would go out so our clubhouse was behind third base, like way back where. So he'd get on the other side of the clubhouse, and he started smoking a cigarette back there. Yeah, just kept smoking. But he'd be out there, or he'd be outside.
Dude, there's nothing like in between inning heaters, man. I threw a complete game shutty in Northwest Arkansas. One of my best ever performances to win the championship. His brother's there. And I'm sitting there, my dad, and I asked my mom, I was like, "How'd Dad do?" And he goes, "I think he had 9 heaters every inning." He walked out and went outside. I was like,
one between every inning.
I'm just glad your dad remembered me this time. Yeah. He thinks I live in Las Vegas, but he remembers me. He remembers me.
Hey, first game of state against Hall and Hall.
Oh, yeah,
we were playing Lone Grove. They were 35-1 going into us, and we're 35-6. Or 33-6.
Something like that, yeah.
And rolling in there, and at the end of the game, I just talked to my guys, and I just see him roll up. I was like, "Have you been here the whole time?" Like, it's a 3A first game around the state, and he didn't have to drive to Choctaw, Oklahoma to come watch us.
Yeah.
He did.
So he was. So what
good
about
people.
Lane? Like, was she ever? Because she's kind of like the chill type. Like, that's my boy, and this, you know.
So I think it was like kind of the opposite. Like my dad, he doesn't smoke anymore. He used to smoke, so he just kind of like wandered the outfield, just kind of away from everybody, or just away from my mom. One of those. So just so he wouldn't have to hear her. But my mom would keep the book. She'd keep the scorecard.
Yeah. Really?
So that would she would learn that way.
Yeah.
And then she had every single everything.
Every cutout.
And she had every little thing. But she was more nervous than I think anybody else.
Yeah.
That was her cigarette.
Yeah, she scribbled.
His stats were always great.
Yeah.
Mom was good.
He hit 1,000 again.
So I hit 500 in high school.
Yeah. That's what
I heard you with a
That's
good
what I'm at.
Here's the stats, I swear to God.
Yeah.
I want to give this story, and I want you to close with a story from the Aviators deal. About, I want you to finish with that. But
let's see.
they,
Which one?
I mean, the good one. The good one. But anyways, it was.
I'll find one.
So was it the
a
time
good
where we clinched or whatever? Y'all had the bar down. Y'all did, and like me and your dad went in there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude. So Bob was feeling it, and he was like, he started listening to music. Boy, he was starting, and this is where everybody was drunk. Okay, I mean, people were falling down on the end table, spilling beer. Shout out to Freezes, whatever. He knocked down 7 tables wise in that motherfucker. But it was awesome. I loved it because I was watching him all the time. So, anyways, I look over. Bob's doing the little stanky leg.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, "Bo, you feel this?" He's doing that one leg. He's laughing. And I was like, oh, that's why I'm laughing. But anyways, I want you to close it. So we go
when
on.
we sat in the family section.
Yeah, sat in the family section, and then Pete ended up playing on one
Oh
time.
yeah.
And then, tell us.
Well, so we're sitting in the family section, which I forgot it was the family section, and this.
You were drinking all night.
all day and all that.
But we were sitting there, and this young kid starting at shortstop instead of Pete. And we were telling everybody he was our brother, you know.
You guys are wearing
Trying to
my
get that
freaking jersey
family-
too.
That family
You guys are
discount
wearing my-
jersey, you know.
Oh, that's
That extra 15% off, Glenda. And so we're like, who the fuck's this guy starting at shortstop? You know, our brother's supposed to be, starting, blah blah blah, and I guess his parents were kind of close by. And then like the pitchers in that league were just fucking getting shelled. I mean, every pitcher had like a 4 to like a 12 ERA, and so we're sitting there and we're like, man, these pitchers fucking suck. Like they're all getting shelled, and like people start kind of looking. And one girl's like, "Yeah, it's my fiance." I was like, "We need to go sit somewhere else." So we go sit.
You go to left field.
We go sit down the foul line, and then the next morning, Jeff wandered off to like WWE SmackDown at the the Death Star.
Yeah.
So the next
We go to the
morning,
pool,
we're at the pool.
Yeah.
And we got a couple drinks, you know. We're like, man, I'm like, I still can't believe that fucking pussy started instead of our brother. And then real quick behind me, some guy goes, "That's my fucking son." He's stood right behind us in the pool with the kid's mom. And I'm like, hey, well, that sucks for you. Our brother should have been started. And he was like, why don't you get back down here and do something about it?
He would have made that backhand.
And he's standing in the pool. He's like, why don't you come down here and do something about it?
He
And
was
I'm like,
talking shit.
and I'm like, oh shit, I take off my Michael Jordan jersey and I go start getting in the pool. And Jeff was like, oh shit. Jeff starts creeping around because he creeps around and he break a bottle. And so Jeff starts like creeping around and his wife's kind of like going to the side of the pool. And I'm like, we're about to fight this guy. So Mo just kind of starts coming behind me and I get in the pool. And he's like, I'm just fucking with you, man. And I was like, I thought I was going to have to fight that kid's dad. And it turns out they're just the nicest people.
Dude.
We drank with them and then we went to the game with him the next night.
Day,
went to dinner after.
You suck 32.
Met his son. I got his cell phone. He was like, I'm serious in San Diego sometime. Like, ended up just being like our best friends.
And then I asked Pete, I was like, dude, who's that fucking son? I'm going to kick his ass. He's like, dude, he's actually really good. He was late because he was at the Olympics. You remember?
It's Nick Allen.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Nick
he's
Allen.
still in the big leagues. So.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nick Allen's
like,
family.
Yeah, he
Nick
was
Allen's family.
21, 22 at the time. Like first time in AAA. Like he's a stud.
It was awesome.
It was
dude.
hilarious.
It was such a cool deal.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun seeing you there. Fun seeing you in Kansas City. Fun seeing you in the World Series that one time I didn't know you, but that was fun as well.
And Parker's good to see you out there, the Drillers, dude. And
Gotta come see you play. See Bishop Kelley play a game. When you guys have a game next?
Next Monday and Tuesday.
Broken Arrow, and then home.
oh yeah, the 6A deal.
6A's, you know.
Who do you play at home? You play at home Tuesday?
I think so.
Tuesday,
yeah. 26,
yeah.
yeah.
I'll have to come see you, see what the
Well,
staff's
we play
looking
in Broken Arrow.
Yeah, you can come to Broken Arrow. It's a quicker
pretty
drive.
far away, but
It's like a 2 mile walk.
a 3-minute drive. Hey man, I'm just saying, if you need a hype guy, I'll come in.
I will take it. People are like, who is this guy? He's awesome. Cook.
Hey, you assholes!
You could be like the dude that drills with the mic
Yeah.
and they start pepping everybody up at the Bishop Kelley game.
I'll be like Denzel Washington in Remember the Titans. Is baseball fun? No, you laughing? You ain't laughing now, are you? Baseball zero fun, zero fun, sir. Yeah. And it went undefeated after that guy came.
He scared the crap out of us.
This guy. That's
outside
good, man.
Pete beat me. He didn't beat me too bad today in golf, but I don't feel beaten. But thanks for showing up, brother.
Yeah.
Love
Hey,
it.
appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
We'll have to have you on because we got to hear more baseball stories,
Yeah.
specifically more in Fenway Park. So
We don't care.
I got my name on the wall, so
yeah. Do you signed it out there?
sign the shit out of it.
All right, let's go out there and you can take me in on a tour. Let's say, you just play here, relax. We'll drive up in that Chevy. Hey, ding dong.
I don't think they're going to let you in that one.
Yeah,
I get my jersey and my ball cap on. I just got promoted from AAA.
What's your name? Pete Kozma.
The Blanca Flame.
You're 45 years
Fella
old.
from the Mexican League. Get him ass in here. Thanks for coming on,
That has to go on.
the Blanca Flame,
What
baby.
was the fishing one?
The fishing?
The-
No tits in the pits.
No, that was the racing.
That was the racing one.
Anyway,
I forget the fit. We need a board.
Yeah,
We need a board.
the bunker. The
Oh, it was Beater Bay. Bank beaters. The bank beaters. That's what they call the guys who fish on the bank all the time. Bank beaters. Quickest ones there and the
Warrior
quickest
told
ones off.
that in the 80s. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. So,
Yeah.
anyways, thanks for coming on.
Hey,
boys.
appreciate
Yeah,
you
no
boys.
problem.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Your goals are near. Just have faith and hold